Good evening, guten tag, bonjour, welcome. It's Thursday. Why is Ozzy looking all like confused? You're on mute.
I was just wondering why you were speaking foreign languages. By the way,
Because we are a multicultural channel. We are welcoming the world in. Good day to our Australian buddies. How are you all down in Texas or wherever in America?
Don't do the accents.
Why?
Big up, man. Big up the chat. Big up the panel, man. Let's try to move this on.
Yeah, that's Ed. Evening, Ed.
How's everybody doing?
Yeah, not bad, mate. How about you?
Just got off work, and like a usual Thursday, I'm headed towards the gym. It's it's summertime. I got some things to do this summer, so let's go.
Wow, big up Ed on his summer things he's got to do. Love it.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have our season review this evening. Rich and a few others will join us in a bit. So we've got loads to go through. Obviously, the Pep goodbye is done. It's over. We've drawn a line under it. Pep's in Barcelona. He's getting on with his life. We wish him much happiness. Maresca, probably tomorrow. I think some were open today, but I think it's going to be tomorrow. While I just tie up a few loose ends on that side. We'll go through our player of the year, our season review. We'll congratulate everyone on the predictions league. You know who's won it. You know who's come bottom. It is what it is. And then we'll go through all the latest news and rumours as well. And I'll give you an update on the Jack Garn video tomorrow, which is no longer a video. It's now going to be a live. But we'll go through that. There will be some rules and some stuff around that because we have only got Jack for an hour maximum at 11 a.m. in the morning. So anyway, are we both okay, gentlemen?
All good, thanks, Martin. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. I'm just one sec. I'm just adding some.
Yo, Martin, show people the kit, man. They want to see the kit.
I'll show them the kit in a minute. Relax.
Yeah, you've got to get up and do a 12.
A 12?
Yeah, 12. I want to see front and back.
Whoa,
back?
Whoa, pause.
On the back of his shirt, Ed, I'm talking about.
Oh dear. Anyway, right, we'll get into it. We'll start with the season when Rich and that here. We'll save some of those, but while I'm doing that, thoughts on this week, Ozzy? I know you've not had a chance, but the parades, the goodbyes, he's left. Thoughts on it, buddy?
Yeah, I didn't get to catch as much as I would have liked to. Sadly, I was working all weekend, so I caught snippets of it. I've watched some since, and I was gutted that I couldn't be there, but for me, it was too short notice to kind of get the time off work and be there. But from everything that I saw, from things I've read, it seems like it was an emotional and amazing send-off for not only Pep, but also for Bernardo and Stones. And just the the amount of kind of players that came back, Company coming back, Edison coming back, Gundo, Fernandinho. I mean, just the amount of players that wanted to come back and show their respect for what Pep has achieved the decade that he's been here, and what he's not achieved for the club, but he's achieved for those individual players as well. Because let's not forget, all those players that have come in or just came in, or were there during his reign anyway, like Company and stuff like that, just elevated them to the next level. We forget, the amount of time, the players that we signed, the likes of Bernardo Silva and Stones, who were we've seen some good players, but they weren't seen as the world superstars that they are now today. And I just think, yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, you sent a couple of videos on our group chat, Martin, of what was going on, and they were all just like so amazing. I can only imagine the emotions that were running through the crowd, especially in the Cup Arena on the evening event. The songs that were sang, the messages that were delivered from Pep and others, just yeah, like you said, amazing and emotional, and something we may never see again. For a manager like Pep Guardiola, and it's just I wanted to kind of ask you, Martin, and obviously Ed as well, and maybe some in the chat can say as well. But what is it about Pep Guardiola? I mean, I know he's obviously everything he's won. It's been astonishing and amazing. But what is it about Pep himself that has endeared himself to this club, to this fan base? Do you know what I mean? What is that it's made him just such an emotional connection? Because we've had good managers before, that have helped win us things. But Pep, there was something more than just the trophies that he won for me. And I'm kind of wondering for everybody else, what was it? What made you so just like feeling so emotionally connected to this guy? What was it for you, Martin?
For me, it was just the way he embraced the club and Manchester and everything about it. He embraced everything about the club. He learned the history. He learned the ethos about the club. And it was just the way he conducted himself. And I think in the 10 years, he changed. I think you look at he says it himself. The day he walked in and did that first interview with Noel Gallagher. And then you look at the one that's dropped today, he's a completely different person. He sacrificed so much for the club to a point he nearly sacrificed his own family for it. He has been very calm in stormy times, very limited stormy times, but he has kept calm. And I think just the way, for me, the way he's changed the club, for me, the club is now on a global scale because of him. Everyone will just say the trophies, but the trophies for me are the trophies, but it's the way he talks about Manchester City, the way he conducts, the way he leads by example. I just think he has been amazing. And I get, the argument that he has revolutionised football and the Premier League, and people will say, no, it was Wenger, some will say Ferguson, some will say whatever, and I get that. That's all a subjective point of view. But what he's done is he's took people's ideas and took them to a whole new level, and that's what I can never. He's not afraid of change. He'll always stick to his principles, but he will tweak them. He will change them, and that's just everything about him. I just love everything about him. The way he conducted himself during the charges was phenomenal. Thought he was very professional about that. But the way he talks about Mike Summerby and talks about the greats of this football club, he gets it. He understands it. And, I will say again, he's not actually left. Well, he has left City, but he's still within the family, And I think he deserves the stand and the statue that he's going to get. So, yeah, bit of a long-winded answer, but, yeah, I just think he's the greatest ever. And I won't have any debate other than that on that.
No, and there's no apology needed for the long-winded answer, mate. There's no right and wrong answer to this. Do you know what I mean? It's just how you feel about Pep Guardiola, and I think a lot of it came out on that weekend with a lot of people. I heard from a lot of the people that were there during the the last game, and him turning around and that emotional speech where he was, and it made me choke up. When I watched it. Whereas when he turned around to everyone and said, listen, when you see me in the street, in wherever, Barcelona, New York, wherever, come up and give me a hug. I just started getting really emotional, You know, my hay fever was awful that day, and I don't suffer from hay fever. Yeah, and I heard that there were people in the crowd who were also looking around them, thinking, "God, I don't want to cry," but everyone around them was pretty much crying at that. Do you know what I mean? And you saying about the way he conducted himself when the charges came out, I think it was one of the most amazing press conferences I'd ever seen from any manager ever. Because let's be honest, it wasn't on Pep Guardiola to come out on that press conference and say what he said. It shouldn't have been down to him, really. It should have been Soriano or Khaldoon that should have been in front of the press, defending City. It shouldn't have had to have been Pep, but it was him. And I don't know who that made that decision, whether Pep made that himself or, they asked him to do it. I don't know. Maybe that's something you can ask, tomorrow to Jack Gunn and see if he knows. But, the way he just defended the club and just came out and said, I have no concerns. I've been told and I believe them, what I'm being told. And I'm going to continue with this club and we're going to fight and look what we did at the end of that season. Do you know what I mean? It galvanised that team to do what they did. So, yeah. And you saying about his time in Manchester, and being around the Manchester people, because it wasn't just City fans, that he endeared himself to in Manchester. I think it was Manchester as a whole. And I think even some United fans have come out and said this as well, that, they can respect him because of what he was doing, for Manchester and doing around Manchester at the time. So I think he just went beyond being a manager for me. Do you know what I mean? It was just somebody who you highly respected. And there's a lot of things for me that he said that, political stuff that I agree with that he said, so it just made him human, for lack of maybe a better word, because he was just someone you really could connect with on a level that just wasn't just your manager of your club. So, yeah. I don't know if Eddie's got anything to say, because I know he's off camera now, and he's on mute. So,
No,
I think Martin said everything.
Yeah.
By the way, I couldn't fit Nunes into the poll because I'm only allowed 4. And I did want to add Nunes spikers. So you can add Nunes as well if you want. Just pop that in the chat. Like I said, there is a poll going on. Haaland, I did want to put Nunes in and Bernardo in, but I couldn't fit them in. So if you've got anyone else's, I will start them. We'll come back to them. But yeah, by the way, people are saying you're bored of the Pep stuff. That's fine, but he's been gone for 4 days. He is God to us. If we don't like it, it is what it is. That's the way we are. I'm sorry. He is God to us. We're not saying that we are going to talk about him forever, but we've not even announced Maresca yet. We can't just do transfer shows continuously day after day after day after day, because I know everyone's asking about the DS stuff. I'll come on to that in a bit. That DS stuff, you got to be careful what you're reading, because some of the shit that's come out with that is garbage. Right? The reasons he wants to leave. That's just people being a bit naughty. It's nothing to do with some of the stuff that's come out. That's just people being really nasty and being really thing with it. And I did say this was going to happen. People predicted Ruben Diaz was going to be the next one who's going to get he's get out the club, he's this, that, and the other treatment. Everyone predicted it was going to be Diaz, and we finished the season 5 days ago, and it's already begun. It's crazy. But the weird thing is, there was rumours about Joshko Gabardio, and no one was having a go at Joshko Gabardio, but they're all going to have a go at Diaz. And this is my point. I'm not saying anybody should be having a go at, but people are showing that where their agendas are lying. Said this a long time ago. If Erling Haaland said, "Oh, you know what, might be open to a move," people would like, no, stay. Ruben Diaz talks about it in a sense, and he's hounded out. I don't get it. I just don't get it. We will be talking about Barcelona because, don't want to say I'm right, but I did say Barcelona had a shit ton of money thanks to Spotify, and they're now spending that shit ton of money. It's like the kids have all just decided they're allowed to spend. Don't think 70 million and 100 million for Nunes and Gordon's the right way of doing it, but hey ho, we'll come to that later on. And again, that doesn't mean I'm saying Alvarez is a bad player, but he's not 100 million quid. Let's get that straight right now. 8 goals and 4 assists in La Liga. 100 million. The market is whacked at the moment. Yeah. Anyway, he's gone. We thank him. It was magnificent. I will share some videos that I've got later on in terms of the Co-op Arena stuff, because I didn't get any of the stuff outside. I got the Co-op Arena stuff because I wasn't at the parade, because at the time you couldn't do both. And just the sight of 2 buses coming into the Co-op Arena, and Pep's was like, wow, it was packed. Absolutely packed. Having Caldoon, like, just above me, was like crazy as well. It was just, it was a magnificent evening. Somehow I'll stay with me forever, that. Belly81, thank you for the gifted membership. Whoever's got that, please say a big thank you to Belly. You, sir, are a legend. Thank you very much. Have you seen? No, I've not watched it yet, Matthew. I've not. But here's something I'm going to watch later on. It's something I'm looking forward to, actually. It's completely fine to speak on Pep because he's been here for 10 years. He's changed. Yeah, I don't get it. But Barcelona fans are loving on Bernardo. I just wish him all the best at Barcelona. I did. I know Atletico were having a sniff as well, but it looks like he's chosen Barcelona. And I wish him all the best there. I do.
I think he would have been great under what's his face at Atletico Madrid. Simeone. I think just him and Simeone probably would have got on like a house on fire for shit stirring. So that probably would have been interesting, but you can't blame him to go to Barcelona.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Yeah, it's been totally sensationalized, and the comment we got, and Ozzy's even seeing it, was waffle, and it is waffle. It really is. It's been sensationalized, and he's becoming a scapegoat, and I just absolutely crazy what's going to happen with Diaz, and I just don't understand it. Just don't understand it. But just to explain, no, it's not, Mario. Barcelona secretly sold Yamal. That's where they get. No, they've got the Spotify money. Spotify lever. I wouldn't say Spotify's a lever. Shit ton of sponsorship coming in. He's here. Evening. Get out your pit.
I did.
Oh, that's lovely.
I crawled out of it.
Good. Right. Let's get into it then. Season review. Where do you want to start? Because where do you want to start with it then?
You want to start with the league, or do you want to start with the cups?
Well, you can start league, cups, transfers. Well, let's go right to that. Let's go to transfers right at the beginning. Was you all happy with the window, I'm guessing?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing at the beginning of the season actually, was a bit of worry about the World Club Championship and how we were basically going into a season with no pre-season. The team, obviously, a couple of weeks after last season ended, it'd come ready to go. 2 weeks off, and then they're training for a couple of weeks. We're off in America, and that was a real mixed bag, because I think we had the 4-0 win, which was amazing, but then we crashed out in circumstances that was a bit like Feyenoord or someone last year. But I think the signings, early signs, had been good from Reinders in the glimpses we saw. I think Donnarumma we were happy with. He was best goalkeeper in the world the season before. And Cherky was someone who gave everyone a lot of excitement. Try to think whether there was anyone else, because we had like Marmoush and Kuzanov and everyone else, but they've been there. Eight Nori, yeah, I think Eight Nori, very, very pleased with that signing. Seemed brilliant value. And then we obviously had Husanov and Rice and Gonzalez and Marmoush and a whole host of other players who were almost like new signings, in that they'd only just joined. So I think we had a lot of change, but I think most City fans thought we won the transfer window. You know, we spent less than 100 million net or something, and we got a number of what we thought were very top class players.
Yeah, I agree with Rich what he said. To be honest, I mean, it felt like we'd had a really good transfer window. I mean, one of the kind of misses that we felt we missed on, and there was a lot of talk at the time, and kind of at the beginning of the season that we'd missed out on Wirtz. You know, it ended up with Cherky, and a lot of people were not happy about that because they felt that, you know, City had just gone for the cheaper option. There were lots of rumours about his attitude, and whether or not he could really step up and do it in the Premier League. And all honesty, you know, I'm sure Wirtz will probably come good at Liverpool, but in all honesty, out of the two players who hit the ground running, Cherky showed that he was miles better than Wirtz this season. And for me, it's probably the signing of the season, you know, because of what we paid for him and what we got out of him was immense. And again, like you said, Rich, you know, Reinders was you know, Serie A player of the season. You know, me and Martin were really excited about him when we signed him because we felt like he was going to be the Gundo kind of replacement, and you know, we saw a lot of promise. And we thought we were going to be getting this player, but it sadly, you know, for me, hasn't worked out that way. But I'm sure we'll kind of talk more about players later. But yeah, I mean, the signings we got, we felt really good. Eight Nori, finally we got a left back. Do you know what I mean? Finally, we signed a left back after I don't know how many years. I mean, you know, you could look at what's his face.
Yeah, I mean, didn't we have the three best left backs in the Prem last season?
Yeah, just
on our books.
Absolutely ridiculous. Let's be honest. And Josko got injured, you know, towards the end. So yeah, it was amazing. And then we just didn't have a right back all season. You know, technically a right back, but then
I was going to bring that up, Ozzy.
Yeah, Nunes had a breakout season for himself and proved a lot of doubters wrong, proved even a lot of us wrong. Do you know what I mean? So it was really happy for him to be able to do that and show that he has got some really good quality. So yeah, it did feel that transfer business was done well under a new sporting director as well. Let's not forget, you know, he had a lot to prove, Viana, when he came in. I know he had some dealing in the transfer window in January, but you know, honestly, this was his summer to start bringing some of these players in. And, you know, honestly, I think he did a really good job for the most part. Martin?
Yeah. Like I said, kept used to it because I think that was the transfers were excellent. I was totally happy with it. Really excited. Like I said, Reinders for me was going to be my player of the year, signing of the year. And then we started off really slow in the league.
So who is your side of the year? Because funny enough, Martin and I were about as wrong as can be because Martin had Reinders, I had Marmoush. So that was top nut prediction. So please tell me you had. Can you beat Marmoush or Reinders for player of the year?
Yeah, well, I mean, my player of the year, I'll tell you in a bit, is different, but I think the best signing, and again, I'm going to get attacked for this, it's my opinion, I think it's Donnarumma. I think Donnarumma was just signing of the season for me. For us. I think he's, you know, I know some will disagree, I get it. It's a matter of an opinion. When anyone attacks me, I'm not opening up the debate, I'm just saying that's just my opinion.
I would say, you know, for me, it probably was Turkey just because of the loss of KDB.
with Foden struggling the season before that. A lot of people wondering where our creativity was going to be, how we were going to, get Haaland the ball at times. So yeah, that probably was my signing just because I think we needed that spark. We needed somebody who could help Foden out in the middle of the park at times. So
Yeah, I mean, in many ways, I thought the best signing at the time was Nouri, because I mean, I still think he will prove, of those 4 players, he will probably prove the one who ends up playing the most for us. But it'll be interesting to see, because just the injury and the going off to the AFCON and stuff like that. Nouri, who I thought did reasonably well when he played, but just Nico O'Reilly coming in, the injuries, you can't call him a brilliant signing yet because he just didn't play enough games. And but he was the one who excited me the most. I thought he was brilliant value. I thought he was probably the best left back in the Prem, and 25 million or 30 million, whatever we paid for him, I thought was incredible.
But I also kind of agree with Martin in some respects that Donnarumma coming in. I mean, I wasn't particularly happy with how messy that felt at the time. With Trafford coming in, almost feeling like he was. I mean, for me, I don't think he was coming in to replace Edison there and then. I think the plan was, Edison would have stayed another season, learnt under Trafford would have learnt under Edison, and then may have looked to coming at number 1, this season coming. But at the time, I think City just saw Donnarumma on the market, one of the best keepers in the world, one of the best shot stoppers in the world, and I think it was an opportunity they just couldn't say no to. But I could understand that. I think for him coming in, the criticism laid at his feet that not very good at set pieces and crosses coming across his box, and can't play it from out the back. Actually, I don't think he was that bad. All in all, I think there was a few dodgy moments, but what keeper in this league hasn't had dodgy moments? Even Raya had some dodgy moments. So, and I don't think he was as bad at playing at the back as a lot of people feared. Do you know what I mean? I think ultimately, I've said this so many times, the most important thing for a goalkeeper to do is keep the ball out the back of the net, and that's what he did. He had some absolutely immense saves. You only have to look back at the Villa game and how many times to get the ball at the back of the net, and just in that game that ultimately didn't really mean anything.
Ultimately, Ozzy, I think on the season, I think his shot stopping is incredible. We haven't seen a keeper, apart from Nicky Weaver in his prime in '99, we haven't seen a keeper who can, make a save like Donnarumma ever there. And actually, with the exception of the Arsenal goal, which I actually think was the fault of the throw-in and other things, as well as just Donnarumma, I don't think we saw his passing. I actually think his weakness in the Prem was more in the air at corners, and his inability to catch him. And he was generally good at punching the ball or knocking the ball away, but I think we saw in games like Everton where he is exposed, and actually I think that was slightly more of a concern, if there was one, with him than his actual passing out, because generally we lost defensively with his passing because he was generally only passing it to the defenders and passing it 10-20 yards. He doesn't seem to be able to find the midfielders, beat the line with the pass too much. But we don't want him to, because unless you're doing that perfectly, you're going to give a goal away if you do that badly. So, he didn't try that, but that's probably because he's told not to try it, because it's a concern. But I think offensively, to just get us up at the pitch a little bit more, to make the line a little bit less deep at times, that would be something that would be good. But generally, he got the ball at his feet and he passed it out to the fullback, and it was not an issue. But those corners, a little bit of a concern. But I think maybe the game will clamp down. I think after the controversy at the West Ham goal, and just bringing, really the full glare to what has now become a wrestling match in the Prem, maybe we'll see a bit more protection for keepers and defenders from corners, etc., next year, which might help him.
Yeah. But I think for his
No,
first
Pedro
season,
Porro's not homegrown. Just to clarify, Pedro Porro is not homegrown.
Sorry, did I just read that Donnarumma's a tall Rico Lewis?
Mate, there's some
I
people
don't think
that,
Rico Lewis has ever played in goal, has he?
mate, Rich, you got to understand, it's their opinion. They just don't rate Donnarumma, and that's fine.
I know, but a tall Rico Lewis. It's just.
It is what it is. No, he's not homegrown. He's not. Sorry, go on, Ozzy.
Yeah, I think just for his first season coming in after Ederson, I think it was a tall order, in all honesty, because, you know, those players at the back have been used to playing under Ederson and playing out the way Ederson did, and to suddenly change, you know, system and the way we played, pretty much. I think we did remarkably well. In all honesty, I think he probably kept us in title contention. In all honesty, I mean, I know you can argue and say Arsenal let us back into that, but I think he was one of the big reasons that we stayed in as long as we did, with the amount of saves that he produced over this season. So, you know, I can understand why Martin would definitely say that it's his, you know, signing of the season, you know, and player of the season.
I just think the 26 million quid as well.
Yeah.
A little bit of a bargain.
It
is what it is. Listen, it's all opinions. Obviously, we started off. Wolves was great. I always remember that Wolves game. And by the way, we're not going to go through every game. We're going to pick up moments. We're not going to do all 38 games. We're not going to be here till 4 a.m. I promise you we're not. God, Rich is already tired. He's been on 5 minutes.
I'm tired.
We're keeping you up, lad.
Didn't get enough sleep last night. It's the opposite. It's the morning.
You lucky boy.
I'm struggling to wake up.
She's a bit feisty. Bit feisty last night, was she, Rich? Before we get into it, I just want to say massive thank you to Outdoor Bench. Massive support with the channel, always contributing. Thank you, my friend. I've enjoyed this season. Biana have done an amazing job. We may have some superstars on the horizon. The future looks top for us, and I'm excited for Maresca. Spot on. Absolutely spot on. I couldn't agree more, mate. Well said. And then Peter Gress there with the 3-year anniversary, mate. Big up. Make sure you're wearing that Puma King jacket for next year, mate. It was lovely seeing you, by the way, at the stadium at Villa. So big up, mate. Hope you are well. Even though your mates were like, do you know him? Do you know him? You unfortunately know him. What do they know? Yeah, so big up for the 3 years, mate. Is Grealish coming back? We'll get into all that in a bit. I promise you we'll come to it. But Wolves 4-0, and we all thought we were going to absolutely romp away with the league. A nice 4-0 win. Oscar Bob's a cooking. Reinders is a scoring. Turkey's coming off the bench scoring. We thought we were in Wonderland and we were going to romp away with a title. And boy, did we come back to earth the next 2 games. We did our normal fall over Spurs at home, which I've got to say was the worst home game we played all season. We were a shambles from start to finish. That was the day when, if you remember, Cherky came on, started the game, went off quite early, got told he had an injury when he basically got told to go and lose a couple of stone. And not because that was the reason. Cherky was not injured, he was told to go and lose weight, unfortunately. I didn't think he was that bad. But I remember someone who's no longer on this channel saying he was a bit top heavy while he was sticking crumpets in his gob. You know, pot, kettle and all that. And, Trafford had a bit of a nightmare. We just didn't perform that day from 1 to 11. We didn't perform. We went to Brighton and we were goose. We got outdone by the Brighton manager, made the best substitutions, got around us. And then we're at 3 points out the opening 9 then, and we're thinking, oh, this is a bit different. This is a bit different. Yeah, so thoughts, gentlemen. And that's when we went and bought Donnarumma and Ederson, Gundogan and Akanji all left on deadline day.
They did indeed. I mean, let's be honest, though. I mean, I feel like we say this at every season review over the last few years, is that we never usually start well, like as a season starts. Do you know what I mean? Yes, there were bad losses, and no denying that. I agree, Mike. It's one of the worst games at home we've had
Which
in quite a long time. But
is
we are relatively slow starters in the league. That is
it's going to be interesting, Ozzy, because in the last few years, Enzo Maresca has been known for his absolute exceptional starts. Enzo Maresca has been win every game up to Christmas and then collapse after Christmas. Actually, that's true. I might go and get a Vimto. That might be what saves me. I'll disappear from the camera for about 30 seconds in a minute. I'll go and get a Vimto. And then we'll see. We'll see whether the power of
Red Bull,
Vimto can revive me.
The Vimto kid.
Does Vimto give you wings?
Vimto gives me life.
Oh, bloody hell, that's still here. I never know. Eddie, you need to get the shark away.
I'd be waiting until, people stop talking.
Just jump in, mate, because I'm going to forget about you. I just, honestly, mate, just jump in.
It's called manners, man. But no,
but we're going. Yeah, we're going from the fastest starting. We're going from the slowest starting manager because Pep has always, he's always brought the players back later than anyone else. They ease into the season. We don't really find what we're doing. We aim to peak late. Maresca's always been the opposite. So that's going to be interesting to see.
He's not low fat. I've checked it. He's not, because he never actually registered properly. He was with the thing, but I don't think he played enough. I have fact checked it. Porro is not considered homegrown in the context of English football. He spent 3 years at City, but he never played for an FA affiliated club before turning 21, which does not qualify him as homegrown.
Yeah, because
he didn't actually play. Trained with us, but didn't play.
No, he was at Sporting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, he doesn't. But yeah, so unfortunately, he doesn't.
Yeah, I'm glad you said I look like I played for a Jurgen Klopp team, not that I look like Jurgen Klopp in the comments. Shocking.
Love it.
We're not going anywhere, DC. This is not the last video of the season. We're back. We're not breaking up. Well, breaking up. We're not having our break until July.
No, but I think the first couple of games we definitely struggled. I think we could tell why we probably brought Donnarumma in because of that Spurs game. Just because Trafford did look shaky. Even Wolves, Trafford looked a little shaky. You can tell, I think, from that first game, we all had very high hopes of Reinders and what he could do with him scoring and stuff like that. But Tottenham just ran through our midfield. Let's just be honest. It just ran through the midfield. That's when Nico G, everybody was like, oh, we need Rodri back. But that kind of changed after a few games, too, because Nico G kept changing the system up and got the best.
I'm not allowed to talk to Nico G. Ozzy shouts at me when I talk Nico G. Ozzy shouts.
Agendas I shoot down.
Yeah.
The one thing I will agree with Ed, though, is I think all season our midfielders look shaky. That's pretty much why we've not really kind of been at our best selves in the midfield. I think, the other midfields in, the Premier League, you have to look at Bournemouth. Bournemouth for me probably have one of the best midfields this season. I think, we've had over many seasons the best midfield, not only the Premier League, but in Europe. This season, I don't think we had the best, definitely didn't have the best, midfield in Europe, let alone the Premier League. And that is something that I think definitely needs addressing in the summer, that I think we have to have, because I think that's the only way you challenge for the big trophies, whether it's the league or the Champions League. You have to have the best midfield, and that's just something I don't think we have this season. So
we're coming to that practically in a bit. I promise you, we will be talking about that. Couple of more gifted here, by the way. Bran for the 34 months. Thank you so much for your continued support. And then Julie follows the big 35. Big up the pair of you. W's in the chat for everyone who is renewed or gifted. You are amazing. Thank you so much. I heard Alan on good afternoon, Blue Heart. I hope you're well, me old mucker. I hope you got your coat on. My old mucker, you. I heard Alan on TalkSport the other day claiming to Simon Jordan that he ran and owned the Mancunian way.
Is that true? Because I've not heard
No, we need a fact check that. We're not going to read
that. Has
And
to
no,
be
Blue Heart,
fact-checked.
you actually been thinking because now I've got a libel case on me.
I can't imagine they'd let anyone else advertise anything that isn't one of their affiliated ones, to be honest. So, but anyway,
No, he did. No, I heard him mention Mancunian way, but I didn't hear him say that he owned it.
yeah.
I wouldn't let Alan in charge of me fucking hamster. I wouldn't let Alan run a bath.
You haven't got a hamster anymore, have you? For that reason.
No, he left Alan in charge of it.
If I told Alan to run a bath, I'd go back and double check it.
Freezing.
Anyway, big up Alan. No doubt he'll join us in a bit. In the chat, not on the screen. Before Ozzy has a heart attack up there. Midfield was our problem all season.
You should do the league table for the predictions.
No, Rich, you don't want to
add Alan back in. Add Alan back in, and then.
I mean, how do you feel it went up to Christmas? How did you feel? Because that was the time we didn't have Rodri. We didn't have Rodri then. We were starting our League Cup journey, obviously Huddersfield and Swansea, so they were kind of not gimmies, but you know what I mean. But how would you feel? Because Rodri there was no Rodri. A little bit of Rodri, but not more.
I'm not gonna lie, I felt pretty good. Yeah. I felt pretty good. I felt like we hit our groove. Foden and Turkey were performing.
Yeah, Nico Gonzalez was playing. I thought in that, was it October, November, etc. period, I thought he was playing as, on a par, pretty close, not far off the Arsenal midfielders at that point. He was playing really well.
He was one of our best players, right?
Yeah, he was playing really well. And I was, listening to people going on about, Declan Rice 500 million. And I thought Nico Gonzalez was not far off. Maybe not quite the same but he was playing well. And, we had a lot of injuries because it was far more than just Rodri. It was, it was everything else going wrong as well. So, I still had us on for the quad as we were going into Christmas.
Fuck off. No, you didn't.
I did. I think you can go back and watch. I had us on for the quad. Everything was going to come brilliant. We're going to win the league. We're going to win in Europe. How wrong could I have been on that latter one? But
yeah, but if you look though, but we were playing a bit different then as well. We were playing a lot more direct because you had Turkey on the right, Foden's your 10. And we were sort of doing a lot more long ball. Not long ball, but I always go back to the Liverpool game and the Bournemouth game at home. And if you look at the way we were playing at that point, it was low possession, but high quality chances. Quick transition through, which I think suited Nico G at the time. Because that's what I keep saying. For me, Nico G and Rodri are just two very different midfielders. One suits one style, one suits the other style.
Yeah.
So, and just when Rodri came back, we went back to the traditional Pep style. And that's when it didn't suit Nico G anymore. As I don't believe it suited Rodri, transitional, putting the ball through him all the time because it's a bit different. He needs the ball on the deck all the time to move it. So, yeah. You hear me? What?
No idea.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Ed, maybe check your background. You might have us on somewhere else, mate. So, yeah, Nico G, the man now. Are you going to follow him to his new club, Nick? You follow him to his new club?
No, but you make valid points, Martin. I can't. I mean, I laugh and talk about your agenda, but I don't argue with any of your points there. You're correct. They're two different players. They play two different styles. And let's not forget. You had to get. We had to get Rodri back into the side. Do you know what I mean? He was coming back off a really bad injury. Pep had to play him back into form because that's just what you have to do with that type of injury. And at times didn't go particularly well for Rodri. It took him a long time to get up to speed, but obviously once he kind of did, he looked phenomenal, back to his best. I think towards the end of the season, though, what I would say is that I think he actually didn't. He looked like he had another injury and did look like he'd lost, not only his pace but his turning circle, and I think that's probably what we could have done with having Nico G back in, but I think it was too late and too far gone. But it is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just looking now at the Premier League table. I know it's hard. Around about 17 games, match week 17, which I know is hard. We were 2 points off Arsenal, second place. We'd played 17, won 12, drawn 1, lost 4. So we were sort of in and amongst it, sort of going into the first, part of the season. Even match day 15, we were only 2 points behind. No, match day 16. Match day 15, we were 2 points behind again. So we were always in and around Arsenal at that point. I will say this, Arsenal have been top nearly all season. So we've always been chasing. What I did notice was, which was pretty remarkable, on match day 13, Chelsea were third. They were a point behind us. And that was with Maresca.
And we were talking about them being serious title contenders. Do you know what I mean? There was that talk. It fell away very quickly, but it felt like at one stage they were, potentially going to try and, run for the league. And
well, Liverpool's was it 6 games or something? They started exceptionally.
Oh, everyone said Liverpool were going to romp away with it, Rich.
Liverpool were like 10 points clear of us. I think we had a game in hand or something, but they just went off and they smashed it. I mean, and that's the interesting one. And I think generally we were pretty prescient on this, that everyone was bigging up Liverpool were going to win the league. And I think, to be fair, nearly all of us.
You say they smashed it. The problem is that it was papering over the cracks of Liverpool.
I don't know. I think
we said at the time as well that
I think all of us had
Arsenal just getting over the line, but I don't think they were smashing it.
No, but points-wise, they did, and I think a lot of people thought, there's 2 ways that it goes. You're playing badly and you get the points with a last-minute win, and in one way, that's what won Arsenal the league this season, and it's won City the league in the past, and it's that actually you turn your bad performances into wins, and then you start playing well and you start winning convincingly. And I think a lot of people thought that would happen with Liverpool, but credit to, I think, most of us on the predictions this season, we had Arsenal as the main rival, and I think we all felt Liverpool, while spending the most money and headlines-wise, signing in, Wirtz, Isaac, Ekitike, very, very good players, that they didn't address their
no center backs,
centre back and defensive midfield. I think as well. I still think they lack enough in that centre midfield. I mean, we did too this season, but that's a disastrous season for Liverpool, disastrous season for Chelsea. There's a couple of really big guns who had absolute shockers, and funnily enough, the other one, I think, and it was Martin and me, I think the rest of you didn't have it. I think we both had United getting 4th in the season in the dark horses. Now, I felt pretty stupid 10 games into the season, I have to admit, when United was still back down in 17th, 18th. But what we learned from that was that if you only play once a week, you can play us. You can play. So
and Amarin was a shit manager, Rich.
Yeah, no, he was. Yeah, he certainly
I think that's the thing. If Amarin had still been there, Rich, I think if they stuck with him like they said they were going to, I think they wouldn't be anywhere near the top 4.
No, you're probably right. You're probably right. But when you look at the season as a whole, I mean, Arsenal get the plaudits. They won the league. I think City started third favourites with all the bookies. Many people thought it was going to be a terrible season. So I think overall you've got to be happy that we had a good season. We did better than we were probably expected to at the start. We, with a young team, dealing with some injuries and stuff like that, won some trophies. So we've got to be pleased. And I think, Arsenal are obviously going to be pleased. I think Villa and United will be pleased. But then there's a lot of other teams who are, had shockers. I mean, Chelsea, Liverpool,
Newcastle.
Spurs, Newcastle, big top, if you have a big 7, big 8, half of them had absolute shockers. And I think one thing this season as well, I think we started to play better than we have for quite a few years against the top teams. I think we've had a few seasons where we've won the league by doing a bit of a Ferguson and beating the bottom 10, 12 teams. And actually, if you did a league table with Liverpool and Arsenal and, Chelsea, United, etc., we weren't doing that well. This season, actually, against those top teams, Arsenal 4 points out of 6, Liverpool 6 out of 6, United 3 out of 6, Chelsea 4 out of 6. We actually, for the first time in quite a few years, played really well against the other top teams. And actually, where we lost things was in draws against.
Well, I need to check that, Anna Rose, because we lost more games in the first half of the season. Since January, after United, we lost 1 game, which was the last game of the season, which meant now
I think
we were undefeated in nearly 20 games.
Yeah, I think it was just, as Rich said, there were too many draws at the second half of the season that probably really cost us the league, if we're being honest.
Draws that we should have won, because actually, head-to-head, better against Liverpool, better against Arsenal, better against Chelsea. Obviously Villa, not, but so I think we got to be pleased.
I think the one thing we definitely can please be about, Rich, is that you look at the season before, and being our worst season probably under Pepper, that's always been the tagline, because we didn't win anything and we came third. But it was the way we played, let's be honest. The way we played last season was just, it was awful. It was awful to watch. But this season, as much as we weren't at our best, I think we'd improved a lot from that season before.
Yeah.
And that was good to see. That was good to see that, the players that are coming in January and that summer had made a difference. Do you know what I mean? That we weren't relying on so much of the older players, the umps, as a lot of people were calling them at the time. You felt that some of these new players that were coming in had been able to kind of show things, and it was just really good to see.
Yeah, I will go through all the transfer stuff in a bit, so just hold your transfer questions off. I'll go through everything, pour out a lot in a bit. Ruben Diaz, no, it's nothing like that. People are just, that's been a bit naughty, that, what people do with Diaz. For me, I think the major points of the season, because I think we suffered our worst defeats in the first part of the season. That United game was unacceptable. We had lost four games. And then, so that's why I disagree with the second part being worse than the first part. Because we'd lost back to back with Tottenham and Brighton. People are just forgetting them. Like they never happened. Who else did we lose to?
I do think you have to add some context around that too. I think.
No, I am, but I don't agree with the thing of City were better in the first half than.
I think it's more of the eye thing. I think on the eye, people liked how we were playing in the first half, maybe better than the second half.
Which is fine. I understand that. I'm just saying.
I think the comment was we dropped more points. So, and I think that's actually true because we were at 41 points after 19 games.
Oh, Newcastle. We got beat in Newcastle.
41 after 19 games. What did we finish on?
78.
78.
Yeah, so we were 3 points worse in the second 19 games than the first 19 games.
Yeah, but that's because of the last game of the season.
Right? Yeah. I think. No. I'm just saying. Yeah. But I'm just saying that's what the person said. But I do think.
Yeah, but no, I agree. Right. Yeah. In fact, the correct. But the last game, that Villa game was a trade. No one cared about the game.
Yeah.
So I don't think we can chuck that last game in as anything important, really. I think that's being a bit unfair, chucking the Villa game in.
Yeah, I think once Arsenal had beaten West Ham, I think you could see the intensity, just the belief
Because
and
if
the
City had
intensity.
beaten Villa, Rich, we had more points in the second half than we did the first half. So this is what I mean. That
Yeah,
Villa game was a bit.
but I
That was
think
contact.
yeah, I think the season for me, in terms of our intensity, the way we played, it was, really when West Ham got beaten by Arsenal, I don't think after that anyone in our fan base or in the club really believed we were going to win the league.
Yeah,
I
because
think,
there's another thing. We were nearly 10 points behind Arsenal
Yeah,
at
because
one
remember,
stage.
remember in the
Yeah,
first half
right.
too, we were talking about how like
So
we were performing
yeah,
good. Remember the press and stuff. We only was putting good first half performances and second half performances. We really didn't perform for a full game, really.
yeah, and I think people forget how much. I think it took an incredible amount of effort, incredible amount of energy, incredible amount of focus out of us to catch Arsenal. So to catch them in the games, but then to beat them, and I think we got ourselves, at that
and
point in the
to
season.
win both cups as
Yeah,
well, Rich.
yeah, I think we really hit our absolute peak then, and I think we got there. We got over the line. In the Carabao, we then beat Arsenal in the league. We caught them in the league, winning the games in hand. And I do think then we're a bit out of gas. And actually, Arsenal, unlike us, almost had a little bit of second wind. They actually improved after that. I thought, and I thought they did in a way, even though they lost to us at the Etihad. I think they played well enough that that didn't psychologically damage them like I was kind of expecting it would, because they were playing terribly going into that game. And had they played the way we played that day, they played as they had been, we'd have probably banged 3 goals past them. But after that, we seem to have almost burnt ourselves out a little bit, and we looked pretty fatigued.
We were knackered by
the
Bournemouth.
games.
By Bournemouth, we were out.
Yeah.
We were out.
But not just Bournemouth. We looked physically tired at Everton. We looked knackered at Burnley. We looked physically tired at Bournemouth. I mean, a bit less against Brentford and Palace, but yeah, we were.
That was why I always say that treble season, I'll never ever forget it, because to do what we were doing every 3 days was remarkable. To have the energy to keep going and keep going and keep going. We forget we've had 15-ish new players in 18 months. A lot of them quite young, not been in a title race before.
Yeah.
Mentally, they probably just ran out of it, and that's okay. You'll learn from these things.
Yeah, and I think going back to kind of what Rich said, going back to predicting the league, who was going to win it, most people, apart from ourselves in the show, were all kind of like it was Arsenal and Liverpool that were.
I think it was mostly Liverpool. I think it was Liverpool. 8 out of 10 were saying Liverpool.
But we were nowhere, basically. Realistically, most people didn't even think we'd make the top 4. Do you know what I mean? Because we were that bad the previous season that most people had written us off. It was like Pep's done, he's over. The league is passing him by.
Yeah, people were waiting to
leave. Yeah, people were already saying, he needs to leave. We need to bring in the next guy, and we were all like, I know we as a channel were like, no, we believe in Pep. We know what he can do, and ultimately walking away with 2 trophies at the end of the season was absolutely remarkable for this team. And we all said at the time, winning the Carabao Cup, we know what that can do under Pep. We know what that can lead to with a bunch of young new players. And they went on to win the FA Cup as well. This season. So all in all, I think a remarkable season in so many ways. At the end of the day, it was on Arsenal really to win this league, because Arteta has been building this squad for 4 or 5 seasons, saying that they need to add just one more piece to the puzzle and then win the league. But for as good as Arsenal have been over maybe the last few seasons, it felt like they had to be dragged across the line, because for me, they were not that good. I think for a team that was still in a transition team, because I don't consider the season before as transition. I think that was just a bit of a write-off season after the 4-peat. This season was definitely, we're transitioning, we're rebuilding, for Arsenal, they'd already done that. They were in this stage where they should be winning the league. They should be winning an FA Cup or a Carabao Cup and a Champions League.
To give you some perspective, Ozzy, in the 33 people who predicted for the BBC, 21, so that's what 2/3 predicted Liverpool, 6 predicted Arsenal, 5 predicted City, and Chris Waddle predicted Chelsea. So, we were 1 in 6 who predicted us 1 in 7.
I saw worse than that though.
And I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure of those 5, probably 4 of them were ex-City players. City.
Can I just pick up the legend that is Foggy, by the way? He was gifted 10 channel memberships. You, sir, are the legend. Well done, Foggy. Thank you so much, mate, and I hope you are well. Send us an email, let us know, mate. We'll have a chat. Be good to catch up. I hope you are well, but thank you so much. I know people put W's in the chat. I just wanted to leave that while we had a moment because Foggy has been superstar this year, so big up to Foggy. Yeah. Trivia question: which game did John Stones play right back this season? I'm normally good at these, but my memory's not that good at the minute. My memory's up his arse at the minute.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah. It was around the time of the European game.
Was it Dortmund? Was it Dortmund at home?
Yeah, I was gonna feel like was it a European game?
I know we started Dortmund at home because there's not that many games to choose from. Spicy potato, to be totally honest. It's not like we had a choice of 10. Was it? I'm sure. Or was it Leverkusen at home? I'm sure it was a European game.
You'll tell us in a minute.
By the way, that is a lot of garbage. That. Where did you put it? No one cares if Diab leaves. Yes, they do. Yes, they do, Cherky. Yeah. Don't speak for everyone. Speak for you. We care if Diaz leaves.
Yeah, absolutely.
I saw a couple of games like Everton where I would have loved Ruben Diaz to be in the side.
They got richer.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that I'd also like to say about the season, though, is, again, Wembley belongs to City. But it certainly does under the Pepper era. Do you know what I mean? The amount of times that we've been to Wembley, is absolutely... I mean, I think it's a record now, isn't it, Mike, if I'm not wrong?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I believe it is. So, I think it's just absolutely amazing.
No, sorry, you're the minority. We don't follow Twitter, mate. We might be the minority compared to X, but I don't care what people say on X. I don't want Diaz to leave, so Diaz should be captain. Oh, so we're not the minority then. Leverkusen. There you go then.
Yeah.
You don't have to. I mean, I've not heard many match-going fans or regular watching fans who don't.
Nobody's slagged Diaz off. It's an online.
What he's done for us over the years,
It's an online thing. Nobody at the games is slagging Diaz off like that.
No.
So that's what I mean. So it was a UCL, so it's Leverkusen then. It wasn't. Galatasaray. So there's only Napoli, Galatasaray. Was it home or away? Because I don't want to cheat.
I feel like it would be home.
No, Ash, I'm not doing a space later. At the moment, as of this minute, I'm picking Diaz for captain next season. There you go. Would I bench Kushnoff and Gabardil and Gabe for Diaz? I'd be happy with Diaz starting in the lineup, yeah. Anyway,
I mean that is genuinely what I'm most interested to see next season. In that, I think we go into next season with 4 centre backs who all deserve to start, a couple of which may be able to play fullback. So I'm really interested because I wouldn't want to. That the problem is I wouldn't want to bench Cousinov, I wouldn't want to bench Diaz, I wouldn't want to bench Gay, and I wouldn't want to bench Guardiola. But we're going to have to bench 1 or 2 of those if they were.
Rich, I don't know, that midfield would be interesting too.
Yeah, so to me, It is fascinating. And to be honest, I would hope City would have, if we get back to where we were in the treble season, you get to a position where you have 16, 17 players who you can consider starters, and actually, you're not thinking of them as backups. You're thinking of them as actually we have 4 starting centre halves who are all equally deserving of their place. And honestly, there are games where the first player I'd name on the team sheet at the back is Kuznetsov, because I think we're going to need to deal with pace on the break. We're going to be playing kind of a bit disorganised, but there's going to be other games where I thought games like Everton, we desperately needed that kind of organisation and maturity. And I don't think you have to be in Team Diaz or Team Kuznetsov. You can be in both of their teams, because they've both got absolutely phenomenal skill sets that we are going to need over a season. You need experience. You need some experienced defenders and centre backs and leadership and ownership
Especially
there. And Diaz has brought that from day one. Yeah. I mean, we might lose Stones and Ake. When we're losing Stones, we might lose Ake as well.
If you start moving Gabardio to left back, you're gonna have problems. Because then I think Gabardio when you're trying to get Gabardio into a contract negotiation, you don't start dicking around with his possession.
I wonder if in a way though, Martin, that the way Maresca plays is almost like 3 at the back for chunks of the game.
Well, that's what I mean. He plays 3 at the back.
So
keep saying, this is not Pep anymore. This is not Pep ball anymore, guys.
So you could have, 3 of those 4 playing, and then the other fullback is inverting into midfield. So, you could have a 3 of them playing and play Kuznetsov and Gvardiol, and Gay or Diaz all at the same time.
I mean, I think, in all honesty, we're going to need the depth in squad more than we've ever needed it going forward now that Pep's left. Because the thing with Pep is that something that Martin would always argue and say that he doesn't want a big squad. He wants a small squad, because he has a group of players that he completely trusts, that he can mould, that that some of them can play several different positions, blah, blah. Totally agree with, but I think now that Pep has gone, we haven't got that. We haven't got Pep. We haven't got that, but lack of a better word, that cheat code. Because Pep was amazing and able to use a group of core players and have a few players on the fringe that you could just bring in when needed. I honestly think going into a new season, new era under Maresca, I think we're going to need more players. I think we're going to have a more depth of a squad that is going to be able to come in. We've already got like 4 centre backs, which I think if we're going to be going for all competitions, we did under Pep, we're going to need that depth. We're going to need that quality, not just at centre back. We're going to need it all over the field going into next season.
Kushnov's not going to play 70 games a season. Diaz won't. Let's just see what happens. We need a squad. I don't know why everyone's. I said this at the very start of the show. I said Diaz is going to be the next scapegoat. And it's
I hope not. I mean,
it's started already.
You got to remember this season. When was it? It was around Christmas, New Year. We were having to get on the phone to Watford 48 hours before a game to try and find a centre back to actually play, because we were struggling. We're probably debating whether we're going to have to play Big Earl at centre back, because we had injuries and suspensions, everything in every position. So the idea that we've been off Diaz and we get through a whole season with Kuznetsov and Gay or something, it's just ludicrous. I think what we've seen is in the Premier League, you need 4 starting centre backs and a good 5th centre back to have a chance of getting through a season without having to weak. And we've actually, the season before, if there's any lesson City fans should learn of Pep's era, is that the 3 seasons where we've struggled the most, apart from the first season, we haven't won the league, are the seasons we got massive injuries at centre back. And was it when Liverpool won the title in 20, we were playing midfielders at 36-year-old midfielders at centre back. Yeah. Fernandinho at 36 was suddenly having to become a centre back. the season, last season or season before, the one just gone, we were having to play, Jamal Simpson-Puzzi and centre-backs who'd had 5 injections just so that they could run. I mean, and we were like, it was like the parting of the Red Sea in our defence. And if anyone can't see that one of our biggest problems in the season's just gone was injuries in centre-back, the season before, injuries at centre-back, and 2020, injuries at centre-back. So we need 4, 5 top quality centre-backs. We need them fit, we need them playing, we need them rotating, and that is the way you win a league. This idea that you can do it. I mean, Arsenal did it. They got very lucky with injuries, and they broadly played 2 players for most of their big games. But that's exceptionally
They still have injuries,
lucky.
though, at the back, Rich. They start to bring in their
fullbacks.
But
yeah, they had terrible injuries at fullback all season, but generally, Saliba and Gabriel did not suffer major injuries. They probably started together. What must be 30 games in the Premier League, maybe more. I don't know, but we need that stability, and we need. I think we will have 3 centre backs starting most games, because I think we'll have 3 centre backs and a fullback, and the fullback will go into midfield alongside Rodri or whoever is playing in that number 6 position, and the other 3 defenders will need to be top class defenders.
Sorry, can I just answer this? You've already replaced Stones with Mike Gay. He's coming 6 months early. And people forget, someone just said earlier, we had this. The start of the season was we were playing great and we were doing well. Who was our centre-back partnership at the start of the season, right up until Christmas?
Up till Christmas. Well, Guardiola and Diaz.
Yeah.
Guardiola and Diaz. And we weren't conceding. So I don't know
honestly,
yeah. It's an agenda on Diaz.
And if we had a completely fit team and we're starting the Champions League final on Saturday, I'd probably start Guardiola and Diaz.
I don't know where the Diaz hate's come from. I don't get it. I said I'm not gonna anyway, we'll move on. I'm not gonna let it people's opinion, but I don't agree with it. And obviously, second half of the season, we went down with Gabriel, went down with Diaz, both injured. Is that still there?
Yeah.
I'm just looking. And then we bought, Diaz and Gabriel.
I just didn't want to join that debate, Martin. I'm sorry, I didn't want to join that.
Yeah, and it's a silly debate. Listen, guys, I get it, but we're not a channel that's going to slaughter players. If we're not for you, we're not for you. We're not going to slaughter players. We don't run agendas here. I'm sorry, you don't like it.
We do constructive criticism.
Yeah,
we will call players out when they need constructive criticism, obviously, but we're not going to.
I think, I think, and I think we need to be. I think that in terms of the raw ingredients, Kuzanov looks exceptional, but he isn't a finished player. He isn't, he doesn't provide the organisation and leadership to the defence. He has made some mistakes with his line, with his offside, with his passing this season, but he has pace and strength, and his timing of his tackling is exceptional. What Ruben Diaz brings is he organises the defence, he organises the team. He's actually, I think, better in the air than Kuzanov. I think his positioning is better than Kuzanov. And so there's a lot that Kuzanov can learn from Diaz. And if Kuzanov can learn Diaz's strength and bring his physicality into that role, then I agree. Kuzanov's, the ceiling for Kuzanov is incredibly high on what he's been blessed with naturally. But he's got a lot to learn, and you cannot just say that, because it's almost a Liverpool fan thing that you have a kid who comes in and they play well for 10 games or 20 games or whatever, and suddenly they're better than they're better than Maldini, or they're better than usually Scousers, it's they're better than Vidic or they're better than David Silva. You've got to prove it year after year, and Diaz has been a top class player for 6-7 seasons. And Kuzanov hopefully will be a world-class defender. But
Yeah.
he's got stuff to learn, and I hope. And Kuzanov is only going to learn because players like Diaz are helping him, and he's seeing them on the pitch, he's seeing them in training, and he's learning the things that he's not as good at to become hopefully better than them. But time will tell.
Yeah,
I think that I think the thing that Martin was going to get onto is the January market, which is I think one
I'm
of
trying
the
to speed it
probably,
along, otherwise we are going to be here for 5 hours at this point.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's probably one of the best January markets we've had, bringing in established, Premier League proven players. And I think it was also those players were brought in to try and change for the league ultimately, to try and, win us the ultimate prize at the end. And they nearly did it. I think both were absolutely breaths of fresh air. Gay was sought after by many a club, not only in the Premier League, but he was also being coveted by Bayern Munich and Real Madrid. Do you know what I mean? He was wanted all over Europe. Liverpool were desperate for him. They've been since last summer they nearly got a deal over the line for him, and that collapsed at the last minute. And a bit of a joke on them that they couldn't finish that deal off. It should have been the first deal they made rather than concentrating on so many other players when they really needed a centre back. Most Liverpool fans will say that.
It looks worse now, Ozzy. Looks worse
of course
now
it
with the
does.
latest news.
Yeah, of course it does. So they, to get him over the line was absolutely remarkable. Viana absolutely did one of the best pieces of work I've ever seen a sporting director do. Because I didn't think we were going to get him for quite a while because it just felt like he was going to Liverpool, even in January. It just seemed that was the kind of thing that we're going to do. And then to bring Anton Semenyo, probably the best winger, in the Premier League at the time, and probably, would have been the best, winger at the end of the season because of what he'd done for Bournemouth, and then what he went on and continued to do for us. Do you know what I mean? So, again, coveted by so many, other teams in the Premier League and beyond, So, yeah, absolutely fantastic pieces of work done in January. And I think, we'd always felt as a club that we don't really do a lot of business in January. When we were under Cheeky, it was, we'd only ever do it if we really had to. Like if we had major injuries, we'd only ever go into the January market. But under Viana, it's just like, no, if there's a player that I want for this club that's going to make us better and is going to make us challenge for the Premier League, Champions League, whatever, then I'm going to go out and get him. Do you know what I mean? And I'm loving that from Viana. I'm loving that kind of, fresh approach, to be honest, because it did feel under Cheeky towards the end that he let things slide too much, especially in the January market.
Sorry, I need to say, because I know everyone's talking about it in the comments, and I want people to move on in the live comments, because I want people to have fun in the live comments. Can we come off the Diaz stuff and the Guardiola stuff? Because, like, Kay just put Diaz his fourth choice. That's fine, then don't moan if he does want to leave. Ruben Diaz is 28 years old. Why would he want to be fourth choice? When top clubs in the world, Madrid, Barca, etc., Bayern, are all holding interest. Yeah. Would you not want to go? This is the thing. Earlier on, people are going, if Diaz wants to leave, let him go. He's a snake. I can't believe he wants to leave. Would you want to sit on the bench? You can't slate him, say he's fourth choice, say he's shit, and then moan at him if he wants to go.
I think we just need to move past this because it's getting boring.
But it's getting right on my ticks now because people cannot look past Kushanov. Kushanov is fabulous. We are not Kushanov Football Club.
Yeah, I think it's also but Martin, it's also very a naive opinion. Football isn't a game where you play the same team every week in the same conditions. Football is a game where you play a different opponent with different strengths each week, and you play in different physical conditions. So I think it's 1970s football when you really think first choice. I don't think you have first choice. I think you have first choice for a particular scenario. And I think who is a first choice player will be very different depending on who the opponent is when you're playing, who played the previous Saturday,
I
the
know, it's
physical
mad.
conditions of the players.
Especially
So I
I
think no question you
We
need
don't know if Maresca
4.
will play a high line, by the
Yeah.
way, at the minute.
Yeah, you need 4 first choice centre backs and you need 4 first choice centre midfielders. And if you don't have that strength, you're toast. If you have a couple of first choice players and you're playing for the bottom half of the league, and the idea that I just think it's naive when people are coming in saying, you know, we just rely on this. Well, you don't, because Kuzanov will have a break in form. He's a young kid. He's still learning. He's gonna get a red next season. You can see it's coming. He's gonna have off form, and we're gonna need experience in games. We're gonna be on great runs when the kids fly. We're gonna be on difficult runs where you need old heads, and we need them all. We need them all, and we need to respect them all. And you know,
let's just move on, Rich, because we're just going around in circles.
Yeah, because it's just a bit boring. It's every single show. Yeah, we are coming to them, mate.
Well, at least it's not Trafford and Donnarumma now.
Listen, I love Kushanoff, but again, we're back to the old thing that we always do lately in the last 2 or 3 years. We can't big up a player without destroying the similar player in that position. I just find it crazy.
Yeah, and I actually think if you look at the combinations, I'm not sure that Kuzanov and Guardiola is. I think they have similar.
He's a Portuguese international.
I don't think that's a good combination at centre back.
Anyway, Rich, come on, let's get on to January. The players, come on, let's move this along, please.
No, I think Semenyo and Gay were huge gets for us just because we needed a goal scorer winger. We were crying out that, remember the first half of the season, people were saying we were hauling FC when it came to scoring goals.
Yeah.
We really were struggling in that department. And I think the squad, Semenyo being the highest scoring winger on the market, us going out there and getting him in that fashion, taking him from Liverpool, another player we got over Liverpool yet again, I think showed that, we were serious about what we were trying to do. We were in a win now mindset. And I know some people might not like him on the eye, but you can't deny his goal scoring ability. You can't deny his sense for box presence. And yeah, I think that was a huge get for us as well in the wings. Up there with Gahey as well. I think Gahey was a must for us at that time. We had Max Lane in the back. I know Martin's talking about Man United. Max Lane looked out of his depth.
Yeah.
Out of his depth at Man United. I'm not, I don't want to. He's a youngster. He's a lot to learn, but we gotta call a spade a spade.
I know, he done well when he first came in.
I mean, Kuzanov.
Do you know what? I'll say
like
Matt Gay was great, because Matt Gay was someone we were trying to buy in the summer to replace a John Stones. But I think to pay that 20 million quid with a lot of competition from the likes of Liverpool, Bayern Munich, but Bayern Munich seemed to buy every bloody centre back at the minute, and everyone else. I think to get him for 20 million quid is a wonderful bit of business by Viana and the club.
Absolutely.
I think it's a stroke of genius, Rich.
I mean, Ed, in defence of Elaine, he was thrown into a derby, having been at Watford a week or two later, having barely trained with City the entire year, and his partner at centre-back was Kuzanov, whose big weakness is he can't actually communicate that much at centre-back, and is himself only a kid who'd barely played any games for City. So, I think
Rich,
going
come on, the first couple of games.
No, going
people
into an Old
up
Trafford.
Max Lane, told me we're keep him.
People were giving him a 6-year contract, Rich.
Because he came in and he had a very good game in his first game, but I just think
we did.
First couple of games he did well.
Writing off Max Lane. I'm not saying he's good enough that he's going to become a mainstay at City, but writing off Max Lane because of playing in a derby at Old Trafford a few games in with no training, being partnered by a 20-year-old who can't speak English, it's a bit like writing off Kuzanov because of his game against Chelsea at the start. When,
Absolutely, Rich.
you know, if you've ever seen a player, I mean, I've never seen a player look more out of their depth than him for the first 10 minutes against Chelsea. I think probably one of the worst 10 minutes we've ever seen a player have for City. Now, some players were writing Cousinov off after that. You know, most of us weren't. We're saying, actually, after 15, 20 minutes, he stabilised. He was okay. Guardiola did the right thing, keeping him until half time and then not substituting him till then. And, you know, it didn't break him and he was strong enough to come back. But you can't go around writing players off because in the circumstances like Elaine had at Old Trafford, he had a bad game. I mean, I just, yeah, I think every player on the pitch that day played badly. Every single United player played better than we'd seen them play all season. And, you know, we thought it was going to be
I didn't write
easy.
him off. I just say he was out of his depth.
Yeah, I think there were players who were out of their depth that day. I mean, honestly, that day Erling Haaland was out of his depth.
But were you happy with the January transfer market?
That day Rodri was out of his depth, and they were all out of their depth.
Guys, we're an hour and a half in, and we're only at January.
Yeah, come on, Rich. Like, were you happy with the January market signings?
It's brilliant.
No, that's not possible.
We got two signings that all our rivals wanted, who came in, did their job, and I think we signed a player who's up for Player of the Season on the wing, and we signed probably the best defender in the world you could get at that price, and he's homegrown. I mean, who our rivals wanted. Yeah, I don't think anyone could argue that wasn't a fantastic window.
No, it was a fantastic window. I mean, obviously, we know the second half of the season we were in a really good run. We did go out in the Champions League, sadly, to Real Madrid. I don't think we were ready for the Champions League this year. But I think the cups, and we'll try and do the cups together. The League Cup was fabulous. I will be honest, we didn't really get a lot of. I'm going to say this with a little bit of respect as well. We really didn't get. Brentford was the first real test in the quarters, and Cherky got us through it. Then we got Newcastle in the semi-final, two-legged, which was really good. I think we showed our minerals in that one. And then we did it against Arsenal in the final, which was wonderful. And I think everyone was happy with that at that time. Everyone was second in the league, a cup, take that in a transitional period. The rumours had slowly come out about Pep at that point. We knew Maresca had left Chelsea. We knew there'd been a meeting with City reps at that point, which will, may or may not come back to us at some point. That's up to Chelsea and their legal team. And we were on an FA Cup journey as well. And I just think, to wrap up the league, I think the second half of the league, we went on a marvellous run. But, I've frozen. Oh, no, I'm back.
No,
I just think we ran out of gas. I think we ran out of gas by the end. And I'll give Arsenal a little bit of credit. Arsenal didn't win it pretty, but I'll keep saying it. There is not a way of playing football to win a league. I remember 4 years ago, everyone told me Liverpool played the sexiest football in the world and they came second. And remember, they should be given a trophy.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue that case. Jesus, I mean, we did not deserve a trophy. We could have been second. Do you know what I mean? We just weren't good enough, in all honesty, this season. But I will go back to the point of, Arsenal had to be dragged across that line, in all honesty. They let it slip out their hands a few times towards the end of the season. And and I know people are going to say Agenda FC here, but they did get some absolutely massive calls go their way when it came to VAR decisions and ref decisions when it comes to, the incident with Haaland and Gabriel with the headbutt. That was a red card. Havertz and, the tackle he did, I sent a group chat video to the amount of decisions that had gone against teams that had gone in Arsenal's favour. And the amount of them was ridiculous. And some of them were just right in front of the ref or just weren't properly reviewed by VAR. And you were just going, what on earth? And the point I'm making is that I'm not just talking this from a City perspective. For everyone in the league, for rival fans of any club were really pissed off with the amount of VAR decisions this season that were crazy and didn't make a lot of sense. And then the PGMA will come out afterwards and go, actually, yeah, we were wrong, we made massive mistakes, but they kept on making them all season. So it just felt that this season was just VAR, and PGMA were just so many mistakes that no wonder kind of Arsenal won the league in that respect, because so many clubs that had so many decisions go against them. So
yeah, I mean, I think they, and they're also going to have to change the refereeing. I think they've got to stamp out what now happens at corners. I think it's like watching Aussie rules football. When you watch corners now, there's like 20 people going. Bleh. There's about 17 penalties and about 15 free kicks to the defending team at every corner, and I think they've got to stamp that out, because I mean, I'm not going to blame VAR for the league. Arsenal won it fair and square. Just accept that. But when you look at what happened at West Ham, yes, Raya was fouled. I have no question about that. But at the same time, there were at least 2 penalties for West Ham happening at the same time, because behind Raya you have that. And we had to sit and watch Ederson thrown to the ground by Gabriel and told that that's allowed at corners the year before in the draw against Arsenal. So this has become absolutely nuts. And I know the rule is that it's not a foul until the corner's actually taken, so you can wrestle them to the ground, but if you let go, but just as they kick the ball, they're saying, "Oh, that's not a foul." I mean, it's stupid. I think what they've got to do is just start doling out yellow cards like candy in the first few games.
Which is what they did with the whole wasting time, thing.
Start doling out. Yeah, start doling out yellow cards. So if it's not a foul and you can't give a penalty because the corner's not been taken, fair enough. But at the next time the ball goes out of play, go down, right? Gabriel, yellow card. Haaland, yellow card. Saliba, yellow card. Bernardo, yellow card. Timber, yellow card. You do that, and a few players get sent off in the 10 minutes into the game because of 2 corners, and it will be stamped out in a second.
Yeah, no, I agree, Rich. I think they will address it. In all honesty, the league will address these issues that have cropped up with VAR and some of the ref decisions, because they feel like they've ruined a lot of. And we're not just talking from a City perspective. I do feel like a lot of fans of different clubs have made this point about VAR and the referees. It's felt really. It's a horrible season for these decisions. Do you know what I mean? It just felt ugly. And, I think we can understand some decisions. Normally you can say that, they'll go against you one game, but they'll make up for it the next game. But that just hasn't felt like that way this season. It's just felt, just not particularly pleasant to watch at times, and really frustrating what's happened. So, yeah, I suppose... I think, coming into the season, I think we can all look at it and kind of go, this season that's just gone was a lot better than the season before. It felt that we were definitely building on something. It feels like we were in a really good transition, that we felt that, I think some of us felt we could win the league. Do you know what I mean? We could, if Arsenal slip up enough, but honestly, they went on and win it in fair play. But I think to come away at the end of the season with an FA Cup and a Carabao Cup is just remarkable. Under Pep's final season with us, a lot of these, players that, 2 big names that have left so far, with Stones and Bernardo Silva being the legends that they were. I think we just have to say that this season has just been fantastic in so many different ways. It really has. Evening, Trev. Good to have you on, mate.
Good evening, everybody.
Yeah, I mean, we're just doing the season review, Trev. I don't know how much you've watched.
I've watched about the last half an hour, yeah.
Yeah. Ultimately, if you could sum it up in a bit, what are your feelings of this season? How City performed? How it's gone for you? You can touch upon Pep, him leaving if you'd like as well, but just sum up the league for me, for you, how it's been.
So very close. Much hope. Enthusiasm for what I saw with the people that came in. A maturer, I'm not going to go on about Kusa, but a maturer Kusanov in his second, well, he played a half a season before, developing Nico O'Reilly. Just, come on. What can you say about him this season? Incredible talent, unearthed, matured on the pitch. Gutted about Pep going, obviously, who isn't? And, and Stonesy and Bernardo, there's no other way to feel about that except for, But on the whole, look, the card, 2 trophies and second in the league, and only for a couple of mad 2 games could have won it, or 3 games we could have won it at a canter. The opposition were not that good. They deserved their thing, their victory. They deserved the trophy. They were consistent at what they did all season. I don't like what they did, but they were consistent and it worked. So on the whole, I'm as happy as I could be. But then again, my reference point is the away end uncovered in the sleet at Oldham. So it's like these are extremes for me. This season was an extreme for me, and I'm lucky that I have that in the memory as my reference point for bad seasons.
Yeah,
and I think this is Trev, this is a really generational thing, and this is why I think we get so much conflict between some of the online supporters and the old supporters, is that when you'd been home and away and watched us lose to Wickham home and away, and to be honest, still had quite a good laugh at the away game. Maybe not so much fun at the home game on that one, but it was a good laugh. And City was about comedy, stories,
great songs.
banter,
We're so shit, it's unbelievable.
Else, and people
sung by us.
Yeah. And I still say my favorite ever season was the 98-99 season. I had so many great memories that season, even though on the pitch it was terrible. So therefore, I'm more shaped by enjoying City than City being great. And I've got good mates who've gone from supporting Premier League teams to picking lower league teams, because actually they far much more enjoy going and watching, Division 1 games and what happens than watching teams in the Premier League. So for me, like you, it's like result second. That second would have been a dream, and I can't.
2 trophies.
But we do have a lot of supporters now who started supporting City, post 2000, and
that's
I won't say 2011, but post Pearce. Because, generally post-Pearce, with the exception of the 8-1 at Middlesbrough, it's been pretty good. And I guess I think it's a different world then.
I think it's okay as well, by the way. We're not complaining that the newer fans don't have our frame of reference, our context. We're just saying that it's different. And we're absolutely fine with it. We love the fact that we're growing. We love the fact that now our stadium is 60,000. All of that, there's a load of good stuff. So, for the more recently acquired fans, don't think that we're looking down on you or saying that we're better. We're not. It's an objective statement.
We're just older.
We're just older.
More grumpier.
And we have a different frame of reference. So everything's gravy. It still feels like gravy. We're still pinching ourselves. Because we did have that experience, but it doesn't mean we're better. The true test comes for the recently acquired fans is when the glory stops, if it ever does, which I don't think it will you be here?
Yeah.
That's the moment that then we can say something about you.
Yeah.
When you disappear with the glory, because then we know why you came.
Yeah, when Jermaine McSporran comes on and sets up the winning goal against you, Are you
Blimey, Rich. That's
are
going
you
back
going to
in
be
time.
there in
Remain next,
minus
Warren.
2 degrees? Yeah. Are you going to be there in the -2 thinking it's bloody 9:30 and I've got a 2-hour drive home? Yeah.
Well, listen, we'll get on to kind of like how this season's been defined. Well, this decade has been defined with Pep and everything like that. But before we get on to maybe a little bit of that, let's get on just to kind of wrap up the rest of the season. This season, each of you, please tell me. Obviously, it was announced that O'Reilly was officially City's player of the season. But for you guys, is there any difference? Is there any other players that you want to give out a shout, or you disagree with? Maybe O'Reilly was player of the season. You actually think somebody else was player of the season?
He was
Rich?
my player of the season. He was my player of the season. I thought he was. I thought he was phenomenal. I think he's. I think he's. And I know this will probably get me shot by a few people. But I actually think his impact in terms of games played and what he did at that level was the biggest impact I've seen from a young City player probably in my lifetime. I saw Lake and White and those players come through. Obviously Phil Foden, but I think Nico O'Reilly. I don't think a City youth product in my lifetime has had a better first season. I noticed he'd had 6 months before, but I think it's been exceptional, and I think his physicality for his age is particularly amazing. To have that physicality with the ability is unbelievable, and he does it all. He's defender. He's coming in late to score Gundo type goals. He's going into centre midfield in big games like St James's Park and dominating. He's going eye to eye with Joe Linton, and one of the few midfielders in the Premier League who made Joe Linton actually shrink last season. I think exceptional, and for me, player of the season, but by a comfortable margin. I think he had a couple of bad games. We'll remember at the Bernabeu where he made a couple of mistakes, but I think he probably only had a couple of bad games in 40-odd games at 21, playing in about 4 different positions. Incredible.
Trev?
Another question on the same groove, and it's a great question, by the way. And I agree completely with Rico. Is who's the unsung hero of the season? Who are we not talking about? Who actually was the unsung hero?
I feel like Holland isn't being talked about as much.
I was just about to bring up Haaland, because over all competitions he scored 41 goals and got 10 assists.
Shabby.
I mean, compared to last season, maybe Trev, that is shabby. You know what I mean? Dear God, last season it was only 31 and 4 assists. So
sell him.
Yeah.
I know he had an exceptional season. I just don't think he was quite as good as unsung hero. I think there's only one answer, and it's by an absolute mile. Is Nunes, because we got some dodgy, Portuguese attacking midfielder who's rubbish and should be sacked. So we'll put him right back. And actually, I've seen many people, pundits, foot team of the season with Nunes right back in the Premier League team of the season. So in terms of surprise and playing above their ability and unsung hero, I think it has to be Nunes. I think, he's a tram driver, brought in to, play Premier League football out of position. And he had a very, very good season. I don't think he's the best right back in the world. I don't think he's ever going to be a totally natural defender. I'm not sure if he can do the Maresca going into centre midfield pivot role, but Nunes had a brilliant season. For getting out of him every ounce of defensive talent, I think you've got to say, it was like when Delph went from centre midfield to playing left back in the Centurion
That's the
season.
closest, isn't it? Yeah.
It's just like fair play. I don't know how you had a season that good, Delph. I don't know how you had a season that good, Nunes, but you did. And, fair play to you for giving it a go, because I think a lot of players wouldn't even, they'd be like, I want to leave. It's terrible. Why am I playing right back? I want to be playing 10 or whatever. And, fair play.
Yeah.
How about you, Ozzy?
Yeah, I think Nunes is definitely the player that you could argue and say that I think has had just an outstanding season. Do you know what I mean? He's gone under the radar, as you said, Rich. You know, a lot of people had missed him in their player of the season teams, but some have because of just how good he has been. You know, and arguably probably the best right back in the league this season.
Yeah.
I think Nico G deserves a shout because I think for the first half of the season, I do think he was really good. You know, we already had that debate earlier, so we won't go really back over it. But I do think that he deserves a bit of a shout because I think, you know, when Roger wasn't able to be, you know, be played, he did come in and he did a job for half a season really, and we needed him. Joe really did.
Yeah. And one player I'd call out as well as another category, Trev.
Well, I was just about to get
performance of the season, because I think the best individual performances of the season were Doku. I thought probably 3 games he had were probably the 3 best individual performances by a City player this season. So against Liverpool, he was just absolutely.
I do like that question. Yeah. Have we done with the unsung hero? Because we, you know. But
yeah, we're doing the unsung hero because I think.
Well, you've got to do all of them.
I think sometimes I ask a question knowing what my answer will be, and sometimes I ask a question hoping to be persuaded or enlightened. You know, and the Núñez shout was perfect because you're absolutely right. I think it was Núñez, kind of for slightly different reasons. And Steve highlighted the nature of the question and answer. Steve Blakey in the chat said, "I forgot Núñez," and I think a lot of us did. That's the definition of an unsung hero. So you know he's getting his flowers now, and I like that because a lot of people are agreeing that it's Núñez. You know, so. Give him a trophy that's suitable for unsung hero. It'd be an invisible trophy, wouldn't it? The unsung hero. Here's your trophy. It's invisible.
Yeah, definitely true. I've just got to say, got to welcome Governor because obviously he's come in and you know he's driving. Obviously, so be safe while you're driving, Governor. Please, for the love of God.
Yeah, I'm hands free. I'm okay. Good to see everyone.
How you doing, mate? You all good?
All good. All good.
I don't suppose there's going to be any difference really on you with that question. Really, is like unsung hero and player of the season. Have you any changes there for you, Governor, or do you pretty much agree?
I agree with everything. I've been listening. I agree with everything you said. Really.
Yeah.
You know.
Can I ask a question to everyone there as well? Like, who do we think has probably been the most disappointed player of the season? I know it's a difficult one because you know you don't want to put players down, but. I don't want to completely miss it. Is there anyone that, for anybody who feels that who's had an underwhelming season that they would have expected more, possibly could do better, or maybe not?
Since January, people are going to say Phil Foden, right? But since January, that's true. But before January, from August to December, and this is a zombie narrative that won't die, Phil's had 2 bad years. Last season, everybody had a bad season because there was no defense, right? We were just covering all the gaps up, and what happens behind the forward players affects everything that they do. You know, so I don't count the last season as a bad season for Phil. It was a bad season for the squad, for everybody, for the club. Yeah. This season, his form, if you look at his form up until the end of December, was treble season form. And if you can remember the games, he was superb, right? And he was. I even said it's the dawn of the Cherky Foden era because they were playing so well together. They were finding Earl. They were working out new ways to find Earl. It was exciting. But since January, then it's a fair shout with that qualification that Phil was disappointing.
For me,
we don't know why.
Because I did the worst bet in history. I had a little wager on player of the year for the Premier League being Omar Marmoush. For me, the most underwhelming player. And I blame player and manager and injuries for this because it's not that I think Marmoush played terribly. He barely played. You know, he did all right in some of the games when he did play. He got injured. He was off in the AFCON. But I really expected this season Marmoush was going to start 25, 30 Premier League games, probably 50 games in all comps, and was going to score 20, 30 goals. And I still think he is a phenomenal talent. So for me, his impact on this season is far, far less than Phil's. But I expected Marmoush to be... And Reinders... I mean, I'm not going to say Reinders because I thought Reinders would take a year to... I said it before the season started. Serie A midfielders in the Premier League, it's bloody hard. So I never expected... I did think I was wrong after one game against Wolves before I went back to thinking the same thing. So for me, Marmoush, by a country mile, was my disappointment of the year.
Sorry, my disappointing player of the season is Calvin Phillips.
What? He played
Underwhelming.
how many games for us?
He did play a game, didn't he?
Underwhelming.
It was pretty bad in training.
Was it Huddersfield? Was it Huddersfield or someone he played against?
Yeah, it was in the early stages of the FA
Huddersfield
Cup,
away in the Carabao or something.
Did he stay on? I think it's because he actually lives in Huddersfield. I just want to say something about Marmoush, and I might get some kickback for this. I think that if you're going to watch the World Cup, you're going to watch Egypt. I think there'll be a lot of people who, might think again about their opinion on Marmoush based on the limited evidence that we've had. And I think we should pay careful attention how he's played for Egypt. And I don't want to go into is he a Maresca player, because it never goes anywhere because we don't know. But I think that some people might change their opinion about Marmoush when they watch him in the World Cup.
I think, Trevor, I think they're all in the shop window for the World Cup, aren't they? Everyone's in the shop window.
Yeah.
No, definitely. I think with Marmoush, I think Rich kind of said it earlier, like, he's been disappointed, but it's because he's the lack of minutes, really. Like, to unseed Haaland and to be Haaland's backup is one of the most difficult jobs, in the football team. Absolutely. And, I think he's been tried on the wings. I don't think it's worked. They've tried them both at top. Mixed results for me, if I'm being honest. But we know his quality. We've seen it. What he's done when he's come on, he's scored some crucial goals. So there's no denying his ability. There's no denying what a quality player he is. It's just he's Haaland's backup, and that's just really difficult. Now, going into a new season, if he stays, do you know what I mean? And part of me would like for him to stay because I think that quality, is undeniable, and to have him would be silly to let him go in some respects. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to find another Marmoush out there. Do you know what I mean? So you're either going to have to bring in an older player that doesn't mind being on the bench a lot, or you're going to have to bring a younger player who can learn.
Which is definitively a downgrade for the squad.
Yeah.
So if you are a sell Marmoush person, you are also I'm happy to downgrade the squad person. Are you? Are you really happy? Because that's your decision.
I think that you could look at it a different way, Trevor, if I'm being honest. I think you could look at it as, if you were to sell Marmoush, if we could get back the money we paid for him, do you know what I mean, at least. And then you brought in a younger player, but you brought in a younger player who could play anywhere on that front line. Do you know what I mean? Who was young, driven, like someone like, what's his face at Brighton, the French kid or Portuguese, I think he wants to play for. Someone
we talked about him a lot,
yeah, the name was just completely popped up in my head. But the young kid, 19, playing at Bournemouth, scored that goal against us. Someone will tell me that. Crook, yeah. Thank you.
Sorry.
If he was to come in, he could play anyone on that front line. Play, I think that would be a great signing and potentially, you could, Haaland's out, he could play anywhere. So it's that benefit. But absolutely, Trevor, I don't deny that having Marmoush still in the squad is a downgrade in a lot of respects.
The problem is with me.
Go on.
No, I was just going to say that the problem with Marmoush is he's not going to play as a striker because Haaland's there, And I just don't think he suits the system in general when it's like controlled football. I think he suits more back and forth football that's more like faster and more space in behind. And the thing is, I wouldn't keep him just for a reason because Maresca plays with two wingers and one striker, so he doesn't really play a second striker or inverting and all that. So I don't see how he would work there. That's the
All right.
issue with me.
So Ariano, what you're saying is, for you, it's worth the downgrade because we've not found a way to play him.
No, because I just don't think he's a player that suits this controlled football that we play. I
Who's
think
an
he's a
upgrade?
player that.
Who's an upgrade?
Did play.
I think the thing is, no, I was just saying the thing is,
sorry.
he's studying. I think. I'm not sure.
Sorry, I think what you've got to look at is before we buy a player, the owner and the scouting must do their homework on these players. Like
Profile.
everything about the player, temperament, everything. You know, so you can't say he's a misfit because they must have done the homework on him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
No, absolutely.
Trev, just to your point when you said who would you get, the thing is that
No, I didn't ask that. That's different because
Sorry.
now we get into players I fancy.
What
No,
do you
We're
think?
not going to get into that just yet. I just want to stick to the end of
Yeah.
the season kind of talk before we get onto transfers and
but,
stuff.
but
Like so.
who would be an upgrade? Say we get what we paid for him and we've got that in the kitty and we can only spend it on somebody else. Who is an upgrade to him?
Well, I don't know exactly a name, but I would say I would want somebody that would suit the system because I think he's a better footballer than a lot of other players, but I don't think he's better for the team. The system that we
everyone
play.
who comes in has to be
Trev, it depends what your
to a
question.
hypothetical system that the manager's going to play.
I think the answer, Trev, can only be given if you establish whether Haaland gets injured or not. If Haaland starts 38 games, then
Exactly.
probably there's a lot of players who are an upgrade on Marmouche. If Haaland gets injured and plays 10 and we need someone who can play 25 games, then I think you would struggle. You could probably name about 10 players in world football, none of whom would probably be available, who would be an upgrade on Marmouche. So there's a massive difference between an upgrade of Marmouche in terms of a versatile player who can play on the wing and an upgrade in Marmouche in terms of someone to play number 9 if Haaland's not playing. And that's City's problem. We downgrade Marmouche to a less good number 9, and Haaland's suddenly going to have one of his bad injury seasons and miss 20 games and the league's gone. If we sign a winger instead, because, if we tried to play Semenyo or whatever the way we are today, I'd at centre forward, I think that would cost us dearly. But the flip side is if Haaland's fit for 38 games, Marmouche is a luxury that isn't happy for him and isn't happy for the team. But it's same with Donnarumma and two great goalkeepers. Unfortunately, number 9 is the closest on the pitch to the number 1. You can't have two brilliant players.
That's
unless
exactly
one of them
the
gets
right
injured,
point.
and that's the thing.
That's exactly the point. And I talked about this with Spartacus yesterday, who made me think about it a bit more. So injuries happen, form drops, 70 games a season, the physical and mental fatigue of that. Tactical changes, he offers a tactical change against some opposition, and he can come on later to replace Haaland. So if we replace him with a hungry, cheap youngster, you're actively choosing to downgrade the squad. I'm sorry, there's no other way to put that. And you're buying hope. You're buying a youngster you hope will turn out to be good, or you're buying a seasoned pro who's happy to see out his waning days. But no one is going to be Haaland. So what you said there was absolutely right. It's one position, the goalie and the centre forward. You can't experiment. You can't rotate there. But you do need, with the one position, you can do tactical changes against certain oppositions.
I think what we could definitely
Trevor,
say is that. Go on, Governor. You go on.
Go on, Abby. Go on. I was just saying we've talked about this before, Trevor.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, go on. Sorry, we've talked about this before. Obviously, our main target's Anderson, so the bulk of our money will be spent on him. Depends what we've got available. I I hope Mamu stays in a way. But like you said, we worked it out. We worked it out roughly that
Don't go there.
that
Nobody
we're looking at
accepts any
150.
figure. Nobody
No, I'm saying
accepts
we're
a
150 mil.
hypothetical.
100, I know, but 150 mil going out. So Anderson will take up most of the money. Like you say, depends what they want to spend. But if Mamouche is happy, then do they look elsewhere? I don't know.
I think
Exactly that.
Yeah, I think ultimately
And-
though, because
yeah.
we're moving into a new era now. You know, Pep has gone. That we, you know, the players that have fulfilled different positions and the players that have done different jobs over the last decade. You know, some of them have been here, and new players that have come in for the last few seasons. This is all going to change now. So like Maresca has a similar style to the way Pep plays, but still ultimately like he still plays his own way, and we are going to be in a new era now, and he's going to possibly play maybe different compared to the way he played at Chelsea, for instance. Do you know what I mean? We're not quite sure yet of the Maresca way fully. We can only go off from what he's done with Chelsea and Leicester, you know, to an extent, and what he did in the academy. So I think it's really exciting to see ultimately how some of these players are going to adapt, or if some of them are just going to go, you know what, thank you, but I'm moving on because, you know, I feel like with Mamouche, if he feels that ultimately he's not going to get the game time under Maresca, like he didn't really under Pep, then he may turn around and go, well, actually, I want to play more. I'm coming to the peak of my powers. You know, I need to be playing more. And you can't blame him ultimately.
I just want a better debate than this comment. Okay. I won't name who it is. What are we saying? Mamouche is shit with the shit emoji. He is not suited to Pep like Alvarez at IMO. Okay. Pep's not our manager anymore. Hello. Have you been away for a couple of weeks? He's not suited to Pep. That's how much thought you put into your opinion right there.
I also think
Right.
you go back to Alvarez though, Trev. And some people were saying the same thing about Alvarez when he was here with us. Do you know what I mean? There was a lot of times where people said, "Well, he can't play. You know, he can't do the 10, or he can't play on the wing. You know, he needs to be playing the centre forward." So these debates will always go on. But ultimately,
and
as
the
I've said,
truth is, and the truth is with Alvarez, when it really came down to it in the massive games, he wasn't playing because we had better players on the wing and at 10. He wasn't better than Haaland at 9, and he wanted out. So you've got an inherent problem. If you have a world-class player, you know, he wanted out. So, you know, and we got brilliant money for him and stuff, and he's gone on and done brilliantly as a number 9, but he was never going to stay at City. The only way, and this was my hope for Marmouche, was that Marmouche could play the David Villa role, because David Villa was out and out striker, you know, goal scorer, and Pep managed to get him working as a wide forward, still getting 20, 30 goals a season, but not playing, you know, in the centre, because, you know, and I know Messi was kind of false 9/9 and things a lot of the time, but Marmouche didn't get to play in the centre. Villa did brilliantly. And I was just hoping that Marmouche can play, you know, at Frankfurt. He didn't play as an out-and-out 9. He played off the number 9, you know, so there should be a way to make him work. And
Yeah, but
there
that's
should
the
be a
thing,
way to get talent from him.
when he has played with Holland, I don't think they play good together. I think that's the problem.
Yeah, but that's
Same with
partly
Marmouche.
that's because Marmouche, that's because City haven't set up in a way to actually suit him playing with Haaland. So the question is, you know, how will Maresca use him? Because he's got I think he's a world-class player, Marmouche, no doubt. And the question is, can we utilise him? Because we could really do with having a great backup number 9, but we have to have a great backup number 9 who can play another 25 games, not at number 9, for them to want to play for us. And that's the challenge.
You know what I would like for our season, and he'd be probably happy to sit on the bench, would
Chris
be
Wood.
Lewandowski.
Oh,
Lewandowski.
no. Lewandowski's a poor man's Chris Wood, let's be honest.
But who says
Come
Marmouche can't
on.
be? Who says Marmouche can't be the second? Who says Marmouche can't be the second 10 in the Maresca system? Because
I
Maresca
wanted to
also
get on
had
that.
Christopher Nkunku.
I wanted to get onto that, by the way.
Who plays similar? Who's a similar player
Yeah.
as Marmoush, who is a second striker behind Deny.
Maresca
we
many
say-
times.
The
Maresca
sanest
played with
Go on.
Pedro Porro and Delap many times in the last 2 seasons with Chelsea. But the difference is Pedro Porro was playing sorry, not Pedro
I mean,
Porro.
Pedro Neto.
No, Joao Pedro, sorry. Joao Pedro. He played as an actual 10 though. He wasn't really a second striker, but I think he's naturally gifted. So he played as an actual 10.
Has somebody got us on the background? Just hearing echoes.
Yeah. Has somebody got us in the background because I can hear an echo?
Yeah, thanks, Rich.
I didn't hear an echo from me. That's good.
That's good for a change.
Someone got us in the background. I can hear an echo.
Perhaps the sanest thing is to remove this urgency about a Marmoush decision and say, because we don't know how Maresca is going to set up, we know he has certain grooves about how he does things, right?
Yeah.
The sanest move is to watch him in the World Cup and say to him, you can go in January if you want to go, but we have some ideas about how we're going to play you.
Yeah.
You know, because there isn't just this transfer window. We'll get the same money for him in January than we will now. He's not going to decrease in value after a World Cup.
And
so there's another compelling reason to hang on.
I still think, Trev, that there is probably next to no clubs who can, if we would have to sell to a Premier League rival to be able to sell him, and I don't think we'd sell to Liverpool or Arsenal. I don't think we'd sell to United. So that narrows it down to about 1 or 2 clubs who could possibly buy him. Would they pay him the wages he wants? Because I think you're left with, Villa, Newcastle, a couple of clubs like Spurs. Would he want to go to any of them? Maybe Villa.
And Barcelona seem to have money all of a sudden, Rich. So you never know.
Yeah.
Like if
but they're getting Alvarez.
But Barca, well, it depends whether Alvarez is
saying.
PSG. PSG or Barca could want, a centre forward. Their possibilities. But there's only that handful of squads. He's on 300 grand a week.
Yeah.
He's one of the top paid players in the Premier League, and I guarantee you, he's not going to want a wage cut.
Yeah. Listen, we're going to get on to transfers in a minute because I know Martin's going to get into some of those. But this is a question that's going to be asked for a long time, and I don't expect us to have a mass debate about it because this is just, it will go on and we will talk about it for a long time now.
What's that, Aussie? What? I'm not going to be doing anything.
For now.
Just to do the thing, by the way, the player of the season poll, Nico Riley's won that by an absolute landslide.
Yay!
Not a big
Aussie,
surprise.
go back and rewatch this and what you said, and then just have a chuckle to yourself later. But,
I might have to. I think I might have said.
About 2 hours in or whatever, 2 hours 10 minutes, and yeah.
Right. So my question was going to be: is Pep officially the greatest manager in the Premier League of all time? And like I said, it's going to be a debate that goes on for a long time. I don't expect us to have a massive debate about it, but just to wrap up this season and to wrap up the end of era with Pep. Easy.
Well, even Kyle, my dog, is nodding, and he doesn't speak English.
Wow, that's impressive.
Aren't you?
Do you know what, Ozzy? I've got a bit bored of this one because it is so binary, and I don't think anyone can. So I think Pep is the best coach the Premier League's seen, and probably manager of a club. Ferguson's the best the Premier League's seen because I think they had fundamentally different jobs. Ferguson was not on the pitch training the players. He was not tactical. He was not in probably the top 10 tactical managers. Pep did all that. I think on the other hand, though, Ferguson was out negotiating players, running the club, making sure the tea room was motivating the players, and I think in terms of that man management and that managing the whole club was clearly exceptional. I think it does both of them a disservice in a way if you go on arguing about who's the best, because they were both head and shoulders above everyone else. One of them, you can't knock longevity. 27 years, incredible, but also you can't knock the intensity and achievements that Pep got in 10 years. So I've always copped out on this one and said Ferguson's the greatest manager the Premier League's seen, and Pep's the greatest coach the manager's ever seen. And both of them are utter legends of the game. And, it does a disservice to have an argument about who's better, because I think one was so clearly better on one front. And I think it's a different job. I think back in the day, managers ran everything. Pep is a coach. He isn't worried about a lot of the other stuff. He's got a great coaching team. And Pep, arguably, is the greatest coach in the history of football, not just the Premier League. He changed the game. I think, there are others, Don Revie, people like that who changed the game, Arrigo Sacchi. But
Cruyff.
Pep fundamentally changed. Yeah, Cruyff and Pep's his heir. Pep changed football throughout the world, throughout all levels of English football, at kids football. You can go and watch kids football in Australia, and goalkeepers are trying to pass it round the back and do things that Pep brought to the game. So in a way, I think this debate cheapens them both. And I think we just have to call out Pep for being the greatest coach in the history of the game and a man who changed football. And who's better? A scientist would probably say Pep because his achievement rate was faster. A historian would probably say
the gaffer's telling us we need to
we're
move
going
on.
into like scientific versions here, mate. I don't need the scientific reasons behind it.
Right, I'm going to move on to Trev. Trev.
Partisan
Hang on,
bias.
we need to do super chat.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
MCFC UAE, big up, mate. Thank you so much. As always, if Josko wants to go, he can go. He can go. What to do? He'd be missed, but I don't think any defender in the world is irreplaceable. Also, is Poro our number one right back? I will go into the transfers when we've done this question.
So, Trev, for you, Pep, the greatest.
I mean, it's a debate that's often forced by United fans. And because they have a mythology about their entire history. I've said this before. They think that Ferguson was driving down Barton Dock Road in Salford and found 11 orphans having a kickabout, and he signed them all for a bag of chips and a bottle of Imto, and then turned them into
good price tag. I mean, but
it's absolute nonsense. It's absolute nonsense, right? He was amazing, though. He was amazing he did what he did with what he had, but what he had was quite a lot. When he arrived, he didn't, but then he used their financial domination, because they were I did a spreadsheet on it once. It's boring, but out of more than 70% of their seasons, they were the richest club in the world, and they did spend like the richest club in the world. They could pick any player from any country and sign them, and they did. And they did it well. That's the point. Most United fans just go, but no, he did that well. And we've seen people who have unlimited funds do that badly. And so I have massive respect for him and what he achieved. What Pep achieved was very different, in a different era of football. Football's changed in the last 15 years. Ferguson was on autopilot for the last 3 or 4. He wasn't, I don't believe he was that active. And so it's a difficult one. I will choose Pep because I'm a City fan. That's the honest answer. I'll choose Pep because I'm a City fan. End of. Because I love Pep. And Ferguson did not ruin my childhood. I had a brilliant time, as we were talking about with Rich. I had a brilliant time in Division 3 and Division 2 because it was hilarious. And we were so shit, it was unbelievable. And we just got this great dark sense of humour. So Ferguson did not ruin my childhood. I'm capable of respecting what he achieved. But I'm a City fan, so I choose Pep. There's no sane argument for it. There's no rationality. There's no calculator got out. No, I'm a City fan. It's Pep.
Fair enough. Anybody else want to answer that question? Ed, Governor?
I've got no sound, guys, if you can hear me.
No, we can hear you, mate.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Governor? We can hear you.
Yeah, I don't think he can hear us.
Yeah, that was the problem. Do you want
Yeah.
to give us yours, mate? What do you think?
Yeah. I was just going to say I agree with Rich.
Yeah, probably. Nobody does. Oh yeah, mate. Do you want to give us your what you
Yeah, no, I think with Ferguson and a lot of these other managers, they've had success. But I think the difference is with Pep is that he's literally changed football. He hasn't only had the success, he's done it his own way. And so many clubs from other countries try and copy it. And that just shows the level of manager he is when, other managers are trying to recreate his system. And he's, inverting center back into midfield. That was never like a thing. And just little things like that, I think that's why he's the best manager in the world.
Yeah.
No, that wasn't a thing. That was a Maresca thing.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean.
We inverted Michel Vonk to striker.
Rich, we're going to be here forever, mate. There's 7 people got to answer this.
Ed, come on, mate. Are you there?
I tried to make it short. Did you guys hear me?
No, we didn't hear. That's what I'm asking.
No, I say yes. Pep is the greatest. He's done so much with the game. Stones into the midfield. False 9 in the print when nobody thought it could be possible. And
Maresca. Why does no one want to give Maresca any damn credit here?
We're not on Maresca yet, mate. So just.
Well, Maresca was the one who put Stones into midfield, not Pep.
Martin, we all know the head honcho gets most credit.
The greatest manager ever. All right,
Ozzy, it's just fact.
I know. I'm just joking, mate.
So I can't praise Pep for someone else came up with.
Oh dear. Listen, I mean,
let us glaze him, man. Just let us glaze.
Before Martin answers this question, because I know he'll want to answer.
Hey, Martin, we know the boss takes the credit for the workers sometimes. It's okay.
Yeah, exactly. We get it a lot with this channel. Me and Richard are always having to, our great ideas always, somebody takes the credit for, but anyway.
Somebody does more than one show a week.
Yeah, but what shall I do? Let's be honest.
You know what I mean, Sunshine? You and Rich, part-timers now.
It's about quality, not quantity. Just take that on board, mate.
Listen, your missus is lying for you.
So what I'm going to say is, for me, I think Pep it's not only what he's done at City, I think it's what he's done since his Barcelona, Bayern Munich days. I look at just, for me, what the big argument I look at is that when you look at Ferguson, he had this United team, yes, they were great, blah, blah, but the competition at that time in the league was Arsenal and Chelsea when eventually they got their money. When you looked at the rest of the league, they pretty much walked it. Yes, there was the odd game where they, had moments, but no one really, for me, until City came along, really challenged the establishment and really kind of. And I think when you look at the games between us and Liverpool, those days where we, Pep against Klopp, were just immense. To get to.
I'll see you're showing your youth here. Newcastle.
No, I'm talking about Rich. I'm talking about the Pep era, not going back into the 1940s.
No, but you said Fergie was never challenged. You've ignored teams like Newcastle. You've ignored teams like Blackburn. You've ignored teams where Liverpool got close. I think.
No, Rich, I'm not ignoring it, because what I'm talking about is the dominance of City and Liverpool during those eras of where we were having absolutely amazing clashes. Is where I'm coming from. So.
Yeah,
and then Arsenal coming along. So that's, for me, is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Pep was the greatest of all time.
There you go, Martin. That's very easy. Martin, you want to move on to the next lot of transfer stuff then? I know you're desperate to answer the questions.
I want to give people an up down tomorrow. We're going to do the show live, but we won't be able to do a lot of live comments because we have got 1 hour with Jack max, and we already have up to now, I counted them earlier, 42 questions. So we're not even going to get through all these questions. Although some of them are double barreled. So we will ask about Diaz. We will ask about Gavardio, of course. And one question I can tell you, nobody knows the other Spanish manager. Nobody knows the other manager they spoke to. It's just all guesswork. Nobody knows the manager they spoke to. So anyone will tell you it's Enrique. Someone will tell you it's Xavi. No one knows. So people are just going to guess at that point. So, yeah, we'll start at 11 o'clock. We have to be done by 12. And then that's it. So you can chat with each other in the live comments. We'll put them on screen. We just won't be able to do a lot of questions. Obviously, if we have enough time, we'll stick some questions in from the chat. And we'll do it that way. But anyone, by the way, anyone who starts abusing Jack will get banned from the channel instantly.
Yeah. Maybe you get an answer off Jack in that.
On what?
On the Spanish manager.
Nope, Jack doesn't
know.
Jack don't know. No one knows.
The thing I'm most interested in the opportunity we have with him is to learn more. I think a lot of people misunderstand what journalists do in football clubs, what access they have, how it all works, and I'd like to learn about that. I'd like everyone to learn about that, because I think there's a lot of misunderstandings about how it works, and that's where they get so much abuse, because people don't know how it works. So. And yeah, of course, if he's got any gossip, if he's got any insider information, all of that stuff, that's not as interesting to me as us learning how the media works. Like, can people be banned? Do the club influence what questions are asked? You know, are people in or out of favour? That kind of thing, I think, is really interesting. You know, but I understand that everyone else will want gossip. No enthusiasm for what I want to know about. Clearly.
No. That is one of the questions.
Yeah,
that is one of the questions that people want to ask about.
So, Jack,
some of it we've got to be careful of, because some of it was answered on Steve McInerney's show. So we don't want to. I don't want to over repeat double stuff. That
and also, let's be quite honest. Quite a few of the journalists get stuff from.
He has 2 years left, not one, Bradley. Come on, man.
Yeah, Bells, he has 2 years left, not one.
Yeah, we're never going to find out. You know, who the real stuff we want to know is who. You know, what's Pep's burner account? Who is leaking? You know, things. You know, who's leaking things?
Pep is on Twitter.
On the club.
Pep is on Twitter, by the way, or was.
But
he definitely was.
What does Jack wish all fans understood about his job?
That is one of the questions. That is one.
Great. Yeah. You know,
how transfers
being abused daily affected you over the years? Because they get abused daily. They get called every word under the sun, including season.
He ignores a lot of them. He ignores it. He doesn't even.
That's not the question. How does it affect you?
Yeah,
because there is some effect. There is some.
People have already asked. Some of us privately just laughs. A lot of them just laugh.
Yeah.
They just laugh it off.
That's a reaction. I want to know how it affects them. Has it jaundiced their
Wait, mate. No, I'll speak to you after Trevor. It's already been asked privately.
Yeah.
And there's certain things we can't go into. We've already been told.
Right.
So I will.
That's interesting.
Because they can't. Because they're never going to peel back the full onion. They're never going to. They're not going to come out and say their editor pushes stuff to them to do, because they're going to get themselves into trouble.
No, I'm not interested in that. I know how that works. That's a given.
Yeah, they're not going to do it.
Totally not interested in that. I'm interested in what their job is like for them.
Yeah.
Because I think if we knew that, more people would cut them more slack. More people would actually understand. I think ignorance is behind a lot of the abuse that they get.
I think some of it is craziness, because they're not giving them the news they want to wear. because you're not signing the player they want. Sadly, a
But
little
he gets. Yeah, okay. Never mind.
Right, Ozzy, I know you have to go, mate. Big
Yeah.
up. Have a lovely
You, mate.
work tomorrow.
Yeah,
I'm loving the
thanks,
NHS
guys.
at the minute. I won't fault anything on the NHS at the minute. They're doing lovely stuff now. So big up.
All right, thank you so
Big up,
much.
mate. Right. Josco Gabardio, because that's all we've had shit things all night on. Josco Gabardio is of interest to a number of European top clubs.
No.
That is 1000% true. Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, all having.
Well, hopefully Konate takes some teams out of the race.
Josco Gabardio has been offered a brand new contract by Manchester City. Bigger wages, longer term. It is up to Josco Gabardio. I will say this 1,000 times. People keep saying, well, why isn't he signing? And they blame the club. And it's not even blame the player. I'm going to say, not everybody keeps saying this. They're not Manchester City fans. Sometimes they may fancy going living abroad. They may fancy going playing for a team that they've always dreamed of. We don't know. This is why I'm saying, guys, can we calm down on the Kushinov's number 1, he's number 2, he's number 3, he's number 4. Let's see how things, because when you do that, you are pigeonholing players. Same with Diaz. Diaz signed a brand new contract last season with increased wages. Now some people are sticking him to 4th choice centre-back. Why would he stick around for that? When he can go to another top European club and play every week. This is what I'm saying. People got to be, not saying, they've just got to be a little bit mindful on what we're saying and what we're doing. I know people enjoy players and they like them and they enjoy them and it's the way they play. But the problem is, like I said, and I've said this already. For example, say Mike Gay and Kushinov start the season and we're all happy. Kushinov or Gay has a dip in form. Well, you've already fucked Diaz out the door. What do you do then? You can't say, oh, Diaz, all is forgiven. I didn't really mean what I meant. Come back. Doesn't work that way. You should back all the players, not put them in order. Back them all. I know that doesn't happen, and I know that's a fairy story, but it is what it is. Players see and hear everything.
Martin, what is this everyone thinks? Because players, I know you're always saying about egos, but what's this thing about players not being happy, sat on the bench, wanting to play? I don't get it.
But someone, why would Diaz at 28 just sit on a bench, Governor?
But he's one of our what?
Hang on, he's a Portuguese international. Why would he want to sit on a bench when he can go to another club and play week in, week out?
Well, this could be his last probably World Cup anyway. Could be. But I don't get this. Players are unhappy. I don't get it.
It's natural.
I mean, Governor, if you were allowed to sit on the bench, if you're allowed to sit on the bench on a sun lounger whilst someone else had to go and do all the jobs you're supposed to do, you'd probably be really happy.
Yeah, you'd love it.
Yeah, but I don't think Premier League footballers are quite the same. They want to play. I mean, we saw Alvarez. He started 40 odd games in the season he left, but he wasn't happy because he didn't start in certain particular games, and therefore he wants to go. So, at 28, you're in your prime. That's when you need to be playing 35 games a season. So
it's also called ambition, isn't it?
Yeah, you're not going to be happy.
I don't understand how people find it amiss how someone would be unhappy sitting on a bench. I find it strange how people find that remarkable.
But we also can't argue that players are cynical and don't love the club. And it's all about the money in the business. You can't say that.
They're not City fans. Some are, some are not.
Right.
I think some players are on a journey where I won't say City is a stepping stone, but I think when you do get foreign players, I think it's a natural thing that they always want to finish in the country where they're from. I think that's a natural thing now.
Yeah, and I think also there are players who build an affinity with Manchester, love Manchester and all that, and there are players who are just staying somewhere else they do a job. You know, it's like people in any job go and live overseas. Some people, you know, I'm going to stay in Australia my whole life. I love it, but I know plenty of other people who go and, you know, have moved from the UK to go and work in Asia, Australia, who ultimately want to go home. You know, it was a job, it was a gig, it was great, but there's no intent to stay there forever. So everyone's different, and I suspect, and you can see the players who, you know, just listening to interviews and stuff, you can see players you think, yeah, they've really enjoyed Manchester, they've settled there, they're going to come back to Manchester when they've left. You know, they've married, some of them married Mancunians and things, but others, like, I mean, honestly, David Silva, you know, he loved City, loved being at City, but he couldn't get away back to Canary Islands in Spain quick enough, and he's barely left Spain and the Canary Islands, you know, since then. So, you know, there are players who are here, part of the culture, and end up moving. Like Vinny will retire in Manchester, but no doubt.
Think about it like this, Governor. Ruben Diaz, 6 months ago, signed a brand new 4-5-year contract, improved his wages, so you think, right, you want me, you like me. Now you're told your fourth choice centre back, for example, you're on the bench.
By idiots.
Yeah, do you think there's a possibility of people upstairs putting, I wouldn't say, pressure, that if someone is on 300 grand a week, he's got to be playing? You think there's a bit of pressure?
It's not about the wages. It's about the player. Like Mamouche wants to play. A footballer's career is very short. They want to play football. 10 minutes at the end of the game is not what they came into the game for. They want to play. That's their job.
Okay. The one thing about the debate itself that I think we have to take into consideration is that with Kusanov, who I absolutely adore, stand next to nobody in my love for the man, has a Mahrez effect, right? Mahrez's fans, if you remember, we had a massive influx of people from Algeria who slagged everybody off who could possibly be picked in the same position. And I think we have, amongst the noise, a Mahrez effect with Kusanov, in that now we've got 1 million Uzbek fans who are following us, and they want to see him picked, and they see Diaz as a threat to him being picked. And so the debate is somewhat being shaped by those people. I'm not saying they're bad people. They love their player, and he's the first Uzbek superstar in the Premier League. We get it, right? But you cannot then launch a campaign against Diaz and start to influence the serious debate about who our defence should be because of your blind devotion to Kusanov. Makes you think that you have to slag Diaz off. You can't do that, because eventually that will start to become part of a narrative that other people are talking about, like us. And I think we have to account for the Mahrez effect with Kusanov, because they're new to this, they're new to our club, they adore their player, they've never got to chat in the Premier League again about anything, and so they are so enthusiastic that they're making a massive amount of noise.
I think, Trevor, I'm trying to get across.
Yeah.
Sorry, Trevor. What I'm trying to get across is, if we've got a strong bench, you can't play everyone, so you've got to wait for your chance. Do you know what I mean? No matter who you are.
It's healthy. Rich is a fan of a healthy competition in the squad, right, Rich?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, I have got to go. Great show, and I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, I'll have to drop in 5 as well.
See, this thing is like Barcelona can be working on a deal, but City have to accept a deal.
And I think City will want a stupid amount of money for him, which Barcelona won't come close to. I think City will want close to a world record fee.
He hasn't got a year in his contract, Cherky. This is what I mean. With wherever you're getting your info, Cherky, it's wrong. So, I mean, everyone's an ITK now. Gvardiol has 2 years on his contract. Not a year.
Do we know?
2 years. Can people give me facts?
Do we know if have Barcelona actually got a sponsor now?
Belzy's saying he speaks to Sam Lee now and Florent Plettenberg. You don't.
Why,
oh my God.
Why I'm saying it is because if Barcelona have got this sponsor, are they going to be stupid and start throwing all this money around on players?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they might offer.
Listen, we'll last chat tomorrow, but I think people are just. You're putting 2 and 2 together because you read a couple of people on Twitter.
Yeah. And honestly, my wagering is that Barcelona, they're thinking, we'll try and get him for 30 million. And City thinking, we want a 6-figure sum, we want 100 million for him. And, I think there will be massive discrepancies. And, I think people overestimate how rich most European clubs are. Most European clubs are not that rich, and 100 million for a defender is an incredible price for anyone, even in the Premier League. And I think that's what City will want. But if he really wants out, he'll have to do what, he'll have to bring a price, or he'll have to run down his contract like Bernardo.
Yeah, at the end of the day, we'll see. Gvardiol, City have offered him a brand new contract. We'll see. So we'll see. Well, everyone, the whole chatter is he's ITKs now because they've read a tweet somewhere. Everyone in the chat's an ITK.
The worst ITKs at the moment are these, know-nothing Arsenal fans who seem to have, been told by the 3 KCs in the City thing exactly what the verdict is. Before the panel that does the punishment, and this is the ironic thing, is even after the verdict, it's a different panel who comes up with the punishment. So not only have they been given an in the know about the verdict, the panel's also been given an in the know about the verdict, and they've then given an in the know about what they're going to decide when they sit down. I mean, seriously. People just need to get a grip.
Stefan's been brilliant on it. Yesterday posted a fantastic long read, but it's worth it.
What was that on? Or is it on his Substack?
On X. No, on Stefan's X. He does a lot of good work on there, and he's funny, and he makes it accessible. It's dense stuff, but the stuff from yesterday was just stunning. His longer post. There's 2 big posts on it, but the one where he characterizes the difference between fraud and what's going on now and stuff like that was really good stuff.
Yeah, and I just think though, the main thing that will be good when it's all behind us is just the absolute idiotic inanity from people who don't have a clue how a bloody shop works, let alone how multinational businesses work, who don't understand the basics of the law, transfer price, and all these issues. It's just embarrassing, and don't even understand how the British justice system works, or
that this isn't even in the legal courts.
The rights people. Yeah, it's
a private tribunal like arbitration.
Yeah. It's just non-stop.
Anyway, right. Anyway, there is interest in Pedro Porro. I don't know how serious that is.
It's confusing, that one, though, isn't it? Because we got Nunes, who was the best right back in the league. I just don't get it. Can someone walk me through the thinking?
Well, we don't need a superstar right back, Trev. We don't really need a superstar. We just need someone to fill the gap. Backwards, that's all. And you're looking at around 30 player.
I reckon.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, the Gabardio stuff will be decided. We'll see what happens. Same with Diaz. We'll see what happens. Savinio.
I was going to ask about that.
I'm going to be very careful now how I word this. The way it's been worded on social media is not the actual truth behind it.
Shocker.
There is a difference between a player saying he's open to a move and a player having no choice but being open to the move because he's been told he's got to go. If you are told you are to go, you've kind of got to be open to a move. He's not gone to the club and said, I want to move. The club have said he has to move. There is a difference in that.
Yeah.
So before anyone starts attacking Savinio, you know, and then this is what gets me like, well done, Biana. Everyone's celebrating that. This is the sad state of where we're at now. People are celebrating that and enjoying that. And then they cry. It is what it is. I'm not going to attack it and bully players and force them out the door. Guys, if you want to be like that, then I'm going to say this quite sharply. We're not the channel for you. And if you think you're going to come in and start abusing players, we're just going to start banning you. Simple. There is a big difference between constructive criticism and going, yes, get in. I'm glad he's going. So if you're doing that, please unsubscribe and go.
You're embarrassing yourselves.
You're embarrassing yourself. You're embarrassing yourself as a Manchester City fan, and it's not the way we behave.
I don't want him to go, but if it's a London thing, he's definitely, and it is Spurs, then he must be after a challenge to go there. Do you know what I mean? It is a downgrade. So he must be up for the challenge if he does. But I want to keep him.
Listen, I'm not saying that I don't think he should go. I don't think people should be celebrating and abusing a player on going.
Yeah.
That's wrong. That's what people are doing. And listen, I'll name you in the chat. Martin Mash, Bells. Who else is doing it? No, don't give me opinions because abuse isn't opinions, Mario. Abuse is not opinions. That's what you don't understand.
An opinion we can talk about.
If you abuse, listen, you can walk past me in the street and call me a knobhead. That might be an opinion. You'll get a right hand round your head. Just because you share opinion don't mean it's correct.
Yeah. Martin will hug you.
No, an opinion is something you can talk about. Saying he's shit is not an opinion, it's abuse.
But you're doing it, Bell. You're doing it. Celebrating Fabinho going is not abuse.
There's abuse. That's abuse. What you just did there is abuse.
That's abuse. Then you don't understand what abuse is.
Well, you need to go and have a think about how you think about things. Celebrating him going is directly abusing the player. End of.
No, I wouldn't say celebrating. I wouldn't say that. I was saying on the way out. If you're attacking him is different than saying he should go.
But celebrating him going is another layer on top of that. That's abuse.
It's an off-the-cuff comment. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I'm saying, okay, if you're like, okay, yeah, I want him to go, and you're like, yay, I don't think that's abuse.
But people
the yay is abuse. I want him to go is an opinion. Yay.
Whoa, you go Viana. Yes, Viana. Viana deserves a statue. What's that, Ed?
How old are you?
Viana deserves a statue?
Yeah, because he's selling Savinio.
Oh, God, here we go.
I mean,
No,
again, I just got different.
Hold on.
I just
another
think
one, a
abuse. I
previous
think abuse
cliche.
is like I think abuse if you're messaging the player and you're saying get the fuck out my club, you piece of shit. I think that's
that's what
abuse.
people are
That's
doing.
happening too. Okay, here's another one in the comment. Right, this is clever, smart, and funny. The first time I see it, the millionth time I see it is copy pasta. Right, so you're not even thinking now. Who will replace Savio's goal? First time I read it, it was funny, it was sharp, right? And that's it. I have read that 1,000,000 times this week or the last 2 weeks, and it's not funny. And you're not thinking. You are copying and pasting something you saw last week. That's not an opinion. That's just idle. Yeah.
That's just baiting.
Yeah.
Because is Stephon abusing him when we saw the news and Stephon was like, "Oh, who's gonna replace Savio's goals?" Is that abuse?
No, it was the reason it was funny is who's going to replace Savio's goal singular. It was funny the first time
but
I
I'm
read
saying,
it.
is that abuse? Would you count that as
Well,
abuse?
and that's fine.
That's just baiting.
What do you want me to do? LB's not
And then
king
everybody
about
copied and pasted it.
Right.
Okay,
then. Trolling. It's still not good.
And trolling is boring.
Okay, yeah, we can agree with that.
Trolling's not a
we can
good
agree on
thing.
that.
And by the way, it's in our guidelines. We don't do trolling on this channel. Not every channel is the same, guys. If you don't, we are more mature. I'm sorry. We don't come in here attacking players. We will constructively criticize. We're not going to attack them. Sorry, but we're not. I'm not going to celebrate players being sold.
No.
If they put at the beginning of their comments, in my opinion, then that'd be fine. Do you know what I mean? But to come out straight and say that.
Anyway, right. So that's where we're at with Porro. Doesn't mean he's signing, though. Interest. Martin Fernandez has been mentioned as a right back option again. So we'll just see. There's a lot. Like I said, we'll have some more on Jack Gordon tomorrow. We'll see. Don't know who the wingers are they're looking at. No idea. No idea.
I read that as wingers.
No idea who the wingers are.
Can I ask a question, Martin?
Yes.
Do you think this decision for a manager is going to get done soon because we've got a game in 2 weeks?
Who's got a game in 2 weeks?
City have, haven't they?
No.
In Dallas.
No.
I thought we got a game in Dallas.
Wait,
in 2 weeks.
is that a joke about England? England, like,
I don't think so.
The World Cup in 2 weeks, Governor.
So I think
World Cup,
what he's asking
England
is,
might have a game in Dallas.
Signed the paper.
England might have a game in Dallas, but I don't know. City going to Asia.
Yeah,
I know we got, but I'm sure I've seen something. We've got a game in 2 weeks.
No.
Let's Google it.
That's why I'm looking at you funny. I'm totally baffled at the minute where you've got that
Yeah.
from.
I don't know where I've seen it.
World Cup.
Maybe it was 2021, Governor, and you're a few years behind.
Oh, here we go. Man City does not have an upcoming game scheduled to be played in Dallas. So maybe that was one of our wonderful ITKs who heard from a source close to the club that we had a game coming up in Dallas. But I think your point stands. Has Maresca signed the paper yet? And if not, why not? And why aren't we investigating why he hasn't?
That's it.
He has.
Has he? He has.
Well, that's what people are saying.
Have we had an here we go?
I wouldn't. I
Why
wouldn't
is
be
he delaying?
surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he signed it 2 weeks ago.
Right, of
Yeah,
course.
we'll see.
But the club haven't said that he has, and there's been
Yeah.
no here we go, and there's been no official announcement.
England are playing in Dallas in 3 weeks. I reckon you've seen that. You've probably seen something about how Stones and O'Reilly and Gay and Trafford are playing in Dallas in 3 weeks. Because I think England's
Maybe.
first game is England's first game or friendly.
Are they based in that? I don't know. England are playing in Dallas. I don't know.
Yeah,
Bit cryptic from Dash there.
yeah. It says England, Croatia.
If we get here, we go and Gavardio in the next 1 or 2 days, will I apologise? Because I'm not said he's definitely not leaving either.
And he'd be gutted if he does leave, as we all will.
Well,
And
said
tell you
it,
what,
he's
I
got
tell
a
you what.
contract for 2 years, and City have offered him one.
I tell you what, if a deal on Gvardiol was closed that quickly and City accepted, someone would have had to have paid 120 million for him or something. So it'd probably be if someone's closed a deal for Gvardiol that City are happy with in like a day or two after the end of the season, they will have had to have paid so much money. It's not funny. So, we'll probably be able to rebuild. It'll probably be like they'd have to pay Coutinho money. And if we get like Coutinho money that'll last us for 6-7 seasons, we'd be able to just keep signing any players we want. We call it the Gvardiol money. Oh yeah,
Gvardiol money. Oh, yeah, it's got money in the back still.
We get Coutinho.
Yeah.
Well, what's the date of our first game pre-season?
First one, I'll have a look. Our first pre-season, it's in. Because I know Pat's going to it. The Community Shield's the 16th of August in Cardiff.
Hong Kong's 1st of August.
Hong Kong,
August.
yeah,
Hong
1st
Kong.
of August.
1st of August. And we haven't got a game before.
No, not in March. No, we won't. Thank you very much. Fabrizio said he signed, but just put in finishing touches, staff contracts. Oh, Maresca. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
But has Maresca waited for Pep to go and then say, "Oh, I want 10 million a week more"?
I've got a feeling that I think I'll probably announce in June. Probably. Yeah, it makes sense. Always fun in June, obviously.
Do you think if there's a tweet tomorrow, Real Madrid are interested in Haaland? Do you think Martin Mash and people will believe that?
Everyone's going out the door. I'm going, you're all going.
Stick a tweet out tomorrow. Someone's interested in our player. Interest and signing.
Yeah.
Two different things.
Is it believed? Have sources close to the situation said? Fuck off.
Yeah.
I worked out the other day. Counted them up. We've been linked with 47 players in the last 6 months. Are we signing 47?
80 players are being sold.
I know. 85
We haven't even
players
got
sold.
80.
Guys, we're not going to go in, guys. Please. We're not going to go in. Alan is welcome in the chat. Things have changed now. Nothing's fine. It's all good. It is what it is. Just move on with it. Good evening, Andrew. Bernardo Silva to Barcelona should be done pretty quick. Atletico still have an interest as well, but we'll see. But it looks like he's going to choose Barcelona.
Who did Barca lose to accommodate Bernardo?
Someone said, I don't know.
Lewandowski.
See, there's Fermin Lopez midfield. They've got young midfield as well. In midfield.
But what evidence do you have that it won't be?
Straight swap with Lewandowski.
Well, I think Bernardo Silva for me is what especially in the UCL, his experience of winning on recently could help them a lot out in Europe.
I've got a drop. See you, boys.
Be up, Rich.
See you, Rich.
Night all. See ya.
Cheers, Rich.
Thank you.
Big up, Rich.
Morning, Rich.
Go on, Rich.
Yeah, no, I think for me, right, think Barcelona signing Bernardo Silva, I think, is actually a very good deal for them because I think it's a different league for him as well. It's not Premier League, but also in Europe where they struggled a lot. He can calm down Yamal. He can calm down the younger players that obviously aren't new to playing in big games. He can say, right, chill, relax, And I think if they were to win the UCL with him there, it wouldn't surprise me at all because he's that kind of player that can do that for them. So it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. That's a
But
good
who are they
move.
losing? Who's going to make way for Bernardo?
That's a good question because obviously Lewandowski out the door this summer. I know he's out the door this summer. I'm not sure who else is going out the door, but the way it's going,
They're trying to sell. They're trying to sell Ferran Torres.
Oh yeah, back to us.
They're trying to sell. No, they're trying to sell Ferran Torres to Atletico for Alvarez, but
money, please.
But he's refusing. He's refusing to leave. Last report I saw.
Right, just to let you know, Enzo Fernandez, we did have a little look, but it went.
He's gone.
That's all. It went a look, nothing else.
Thank God for that.
Yeah. That's it.
So yeah, so they're trying to get.
Thank
Trying
you,
to make
Alan.
this way. And if they try to bring in the defender, they're gonna try to let what's his name? They'll go the Uruguayan, the one that they have on the bench. Argiro, whatever.
Yeah. He's crap, by the way.
Yeah, they're gonna try to get rid of him.
I was just hoping it was someone good, that we might fancy.
Yeah, well, see, Barcelona's not really good apart from a few players.
Anderson getting closer. They do want over 100 million for him. Whether City want to pay closer to 90-ish. Forest are
105. The deal will be done at 105 with some other payments. We think.
Can I just correct what I said? I did say on Boys Down Under that a Forest want 115 million. It wasn't a piss take. What they were saying was because Casado went for 115. They're saying in the same bracket as Casado. That's why they said that price.
Yeah, no, I was saying 115.
Yeah, no, but Casado went for that. Got that.
Yeah,
so
I know.
He's on the same par as him.
They could have said 114 or
Yeah, no.
Fuck it, 115. 115. Fuck it, that's funny.
Yeah, we'll see. Right, other than that, I don't think there's much else to go into. Will be Luke, unless you want to add something, mate. I know you jumped in late. No worry.
I know. Yeah, sorry about that. A bit busy evening, but no.
Don't ever apologise, brother.
Yeah, see, I'm doing my review tomorrow anyway, but I thought I'd give my little take. I think, look, considering the season of how much change has been this season, to win a cup double is pretty extraordinary with a squad of players that are some new, some going older. And obviously, we're going into a new era as well next year. So it's a lot of change around the club the last couple of years, what we're used to. So to have a cup double, look, the league is frustrating. I'm frustrated because we were literally so close to doing it. It's like, that's what's going to annoy me. I think, if we were just a bit better in certain games, we'd have been a treble, which we probably should have done, really. Beat Arsenal 2-1. You should really go on to win every game, won the league. But young teams got to learn the hard way, I suppose. But look, next season, bring it on. I'm actually looking forward to seeing what Maresca does. Obviously, I'm sure it'll be Maresca anyway. I'm not going to also, anyone in the chat that's worrying about players leaving, right? Stick to your local sources for the club. Ignore anything. Let's like Romano saying stuff a bit more seriously. We get towards that, then yeah, or David Ornstein. But any like Barca sources saying about Vardio, ignore that until something comes from our end. Because what I've learned myself over the years is we're doing with transfers and that, and the window of doing these shows and that, and doing my own stuff at university. You've got to know who you can trust, because a lot of this stuff is farmed and pushed out there to get the clicks going. Now it could be true, some of this stuff, but again, the smoke about fire thing comes into place when we actually start seeing stuff on our own. So that's what I'll say. But in terms of the season, I'm proud of the boys. I was there on Monday and celebrated, obviously, the greatest era I've ever seen. Probably I've had in my lifetime. I saw Barney Shaw's sign an extension, was incredible. that feeling, sort of seeing Paris
Amazing.
Yeah.
And honestly, the future of the women's team, the youth team, the men's team is exciting. So bring it on. Can't wait, man. Bring it on.
Well said, Luke.
Yeah,
Hey, what was it?
I will say this one last time to everyone. We don't mind the debate, but on this channel, I don't care what goes on in any other channel across YouTube. That's their channel and their rules. We respect everyone's opinions. We can debate, we can agree, we can disagree. We are not a channel that slags off a load of players. We don't do it. We're not going to sit there and say, we're not a channel that picks up every tweet in the world and believes every source that comes out. The information I get is not from Twitter. None of it is from Twitter. Some actual people speaking to them.
HP,
or emails, not some guy on Twitter. None of that. You notice I don't put any information on Twitter. Nothing.
You know, I have to say this, Martin, but it's to your point and to Luke's point. I'm on a bit of a mission in the close season to make people aware of what passive attribution is. These are the phrases that when you read them, you can write off everything that follows it. So it is believed is a common passive attribution. It means I might be making this up and I won't be held accountable for saying it because I said it is believed. And so when you read that sentence, and there's about 5 of these, I'm going to start posting them on my Twitter because I want everyone to get smarter about how we consume football media. I really think we need to, you know.
No, actually, it's fine. There's some people in here that are trying to rage bait. They're trying to rage bait the panel and rage bait me, and we're not going to do it.
Yeah.
I've got enough shit going on in my life right now that I need to rage bait crap.
Yeah. Martin, I forgot to mention, I thought what was a nice touch was, remember when Brandon met Pep in the taxi and it's come full circle and he was on the bus? I thought that was brilliant, man.
Yeah.
Really.
Martin, like Curtis said here, I'll be getting Isco this summer. It's going to happen finally.
Are we getting Isco? Exactly. Jesus. No, big up to Bunny Shaw as well. Listen, we want you to enjoy the channel. We want to have a channel that does deeper thinking. How do you improve a player? How do you not? If we get in this trend of getting rid of tomorrow, links come out, someone's going to leave, someone's going to sign. It doesn't mean they're going to sign, it doesn't mean they're going to leave. You are in a World Cup year, and agents are now doing their business.
Mm-hmm.
And also look at wording. I always remember the Rodri one. The Rodri thing come out on a tweet, and everyone came in the chat abusing Rodri, calling him a snake, a twat, a CUNT. They were calling him everything under the sun. And he didn't actually say, I want to move to Real Madrid. He got asked a question in a 54-minute interview, and 1 minute of it was the question about Real Madrid, where he'd glazed Manchester City for 52 minutes of it.
Yeah. And Diaz, by the way, again today, one article from Goal. Diaz is like, guys, seriously, if it's not come from local sources, ignore it. For me, Romano and Orsi are more of a confirmation to me. Like, cool, yeah, all right, they're saying that.
Yeah.
But if Gorn, Bashkowski, Sam Lee, if they're saying that stuff, then all right, I'll be interested in it. But apart from that, I don't give a shit what Barca's source or.
Has Rodrigo signed yet?
Yeah, has he signed yet? Is Elise signed this summer?
Apparently, I got told Rodrigo was signed. Here's the funny thing is that makes me laugh when people say I guess it stuff, because it's not me, it's the people I speak to, so big up to them. But here's the thing. Everyone said Rodrigo ain't going to happen. It didn't. No. Said Phil Foden was going to sign a new contract. He's agreed it. Said Bernardo's going to Barcelona. He's going to Barcelona. I said Oscar Bob was going to leave in January. He left. I'm not. It's not even my. It's the people. I said Rodri wanted to possibly go, possibly for family reasons. The Brit Show comes out. It's a family decision, not football. Very different.
Yeah.
I may get things wrong, but we don't lie. Unfortunately, we got the pet stuff correct. We didn't want to. And Trev got it correct as well, and Governor.
And Governor, we were first. We were first. Me and Governor.
First.
So I'm not being funny. Yes, we get things wrong. 100% we get things wrong. But the people we speak to don't tell lies. They don't lie. They're genuinely giving us the correct info. Because everything, 99% of what they're giving us is correct. Not me. I'm not the ITK. Somebody else is. I know everyone's panicking and they're worried and who we're buying. Up to now, we're selling 15 players and buying. We're not going to do that either. We're not going to sell 15 and buy 15. Jesus.
Everyone just chill out. World Cup's coming up. Enjoy that.
Chill, relax.
What will be, people. We can't control it ourselves. We're fans of this club. We don't run the club. It's not career mode. We're control the club whereby.
You know.
I throw some out there crazy.
Bunny Shaw was leaving for Chelsea 2 weeks ago. What happened to that?
She's staying 4 more years. Champions League.
No, actually, you don't need to thank me. You thank the people who send us the info.
Yeah,
and listen, some next season I might not get the info because maybe they're leaving the club. So I won't get the info anymore.
With where's Barcelona? Oh.
You'll have to go somewhere else for your info then.
Barcelona Madrid.
Can I
Don't do that. Trev said he was leaving all the time.
And Governor, last year, you idiots wouldn't believe us.
Governor was at it. Until I say it, it's not happening. He keeps
you were all in denial.
1 more year.
Hey, I'll tell you something else, Martin, as well. I tweeted to Jack Gorn that you're a bit late, mate. He said about the England job with Pep, and I said that in January, and he's just saying it now. So there you go. But can I throw some?
Were you alone in saying it, though, Governor? Because we often are, you and I.
Yeah.
Were you alone in saying it? Because we often are, you and I, with our radical opinions.
No, I did mention I would like to see Pep go on holiday, and then after Tuchel's reign, I'd like to see Pep get the job because he knows all the players.
Rain/failure.
I'd love him to take the England job. I would. Watch England again.
Can I just Euros? The whole country would like Pep as the England manager.
Check the manager. And England, they're happy.
Gone. We will watch them eat their own puke.
Why wouldn't you want the best manager in the world? Like, tell me about it.
Yeah, Pep.
But can I just throw
Rice.
It probably won't happen. But if it is Maresca in his system, you know, I won't mind coming. Would be Trent to play in Maresca's system, not the player's name, his profile of play. I just thought I'd throw it out there.
Yeah, I think Trent. This is what I mean. Like the problem is, there's a lot of names. We've got Porro today. You got someone else tomorrow. It's gonna be different names coming out, on the media every day at this point. So,
He probably wouldn't come.
Well, who knows at this point where it's going this summer? Gordon off to Barcelona with £85 million. Who knows at this point? Everyone's going.
It's our world.
It's like, how much?
Barcelona, Barca Universal. Justin Josko Gavardio has 1 year remaining on his contract at Manchester City. For this reason, City may be open to letting him leave.
Hang on.
He has a 2-year contract.
Jesus.
And I was saying, Haaland, we're going to get you now. Mate. That Barcelona Madrid fans, bad one another. Honestly. PR
Right,
football
so
clubs
let's
they
have a
are.
look at this. Josco Gavardio.
Also,
Let's
Real
have a
Madrid used to be institutions where you respected them for how much they won stuff. Now it's all a bunch of PR all the time now. They used to be clubs
You're gonna
that, you
get
know
this.
what? They win stuff. I want to be like them one day. Not anymore. No way. Honestly, no way. What an absolute mess both clubs are now.
All pre-season, Luke, you're gonna get one-liners, aren't you? And they're gonna go with it.
Yeah, and what I'm going to do, ignore all that crap and just hear out the actual real source, the real information. Because you notice how quiet our lads have been on Vardy and Rodri. Not because they didn't worry about. There's no news about it.
When did Josco Gavardio sign?
That's right.
It's wait,
Van Gungan.
2023.
He signed in
2023.
2023, signed a 5-year deal.
Signed a 5-year deal, so yeah, he's got 2 years left.
Yeah. Do you know what? When he stays, we'll be laughing.
So, how the hell have Barcelona got? He's only got a 1-year deal left.
No, lads. 2 more
I
years.
tell you what, Manchester City are signing Yamal.
How long?
We're signing Yamal then. Yeah, come on then.
We're buying
Come on,
Yamal.
I love it.
Can't wait for that City game in Dallas in a couple of weeks.
That last season. Yamal's coming, mate. I'm telling you right now. Sources close to the player have not denied. There's a great one. Have not denied that Manchester City are interested in Yamal. It is believed that Yamal might be open to the move should the move be possible.
It's waffle, isn't it? Travis, waffle. As someone who did journalism as a degree, right, it's waffle. Utter waffle, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh, that means Semenyo would get drunk.
Yeah, it would be.
But Pep to England.
Yes,
will
bro,
be.
we're signing Yamal. He's coming them offside.
Breaking.
If Gavardio leaves and Diaz leaves, that's their choice. But let's see. I will ask the questions tomorrow to Jack. We'll find out then. Anyway, right. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know where they're getting it. Yeah. Great. Anfield agenda, yeah. I've been told he's leaving. Okay, then.
Did you see?
He's quitting the winner. He's quitting Anfield agenda, though.
Did you see? Oh, lads, I've lied to you. I've let myself down. I need to go away and think about this with the family. And we'll work out whether I have a future in this because I feel so bad. Yeah, hang on a minute. As the season just finished, and now you're off to fucking Spain for 2 weeks and trying to spin your holiday as some sort of moral crisis for clicks. Yes, that's exactly what happened, Craig. Do one. Just do one. You're not the manager of the club, by the way. You're a fucking YouTuber. No one gives a shit.
He's back already.
He tells lies every week. He tells lies about our club daily. Do you know what I mean? Crisis. Maybe I should go to confession every day for the next 7 years.
I watched Martin's stream with Lee Judges, right? Lee, I don't know what Lee was doing, man, that time. I don't know what he was trying to do there. But Martin, bless you. You tried your best, man. But honestly, I know what that guy's
They don't like facts, do they?
They don't.
Where was this? Where was this, Martin? I missed it.
Channel, yeah, to about 115.
He was on what?
He was on an Afterfan channel. I was like, mate, what are you doing? No matter how much you took sense, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it, man. They want delusion, Arsenal fans. They want to be told that all this stuff's real. Because when it comes out that we're fine, then what happens? Oh, you paid everything off. As per usual, it will be.
And he goes back already. There you go, then.
I think, Mark, honestly, right? You need your best, by the way.
I bet he's got a tan. I bet his big fucking fester bald head like mine has got a tan.
Oh, it's red. It's come full on red anger.
Yeah.
Grealish, I will ask that. Is a question we're asking tomorrow, Jordan. But yeah, we'll be live tomorrow with that at 11 a.m. The Martin and Tone show. We're going to be with Jack Gorn from the Daily Mail. Everything's set at 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. Me and Tone and Jack Gorn. We've got loads of questions. The chat will be there, but we may not love in the chat as much as we normally do because we've literally got an hour. With
Jack
him
looks rather dashing on that photo you found of him. He's a bit Mr. Darcy.
He does. We've actually got him in a nice little suit there.
Yeah, no, he needs to drop the tash. He's a good-looking fella.
Martin, I'll send you my question on WhatsApp, and then we'll
No worries, right. But don't forget, nobody cares about Manchester City.
No,
Nobody
don't
cares.
care. Even we don't care.
And then we've had this all week.
We're a small club. Yeah.
We've got a bit of that
That's
all
me
week.
every
What about
day.
115? So we'll see.
The biggest small club in the world. The biggest small club in the world is what we are. Biggest small club in the world. I'm proud of it, man.
For the Arsenal fans, I'd just like to say that we don't need your permission. We don't need your validation, and we don't need your approval. The shark cares nothing for the thoughts of its food. Do one.
No.
We don't need it. You're out there begging and demanding that clubs actually congratulate you, because that apparently is a tradition. It's happened twice in history. United did it to us in 2013 and we did it to Liverpool. That's the only time, 2 times. But you're demanding and seeing it as some sort of, oh, everybody hates us and you demand their respect. It's not a thing. Some Arsenal fans believe that there's a guard of honour at every away game for the season following that you won the league. No, you get it the game after, and 2 games after if you've won it with 2 games to spare. End of. That's it. They just live in this mad world.
That's what I hear, Trevor. Everybody down from these lot, honestly. And bear in mind, right? A few Arsenal fans are really good. They're really good guys, and the fans said, you know what? You guys are the real ones that actually deserve this. Not ones that chat crap. Because you've been there to your team for the last 20 odd years, and you've backed them, and you deserve this because you've actually beaten us to it. Not the ones that are on social media that chat rubbish. They're nothing about football at all, and just there for clicks and likes and PR. That's all it is.
Well, I wouldn't mind Arsenal first game of the season.
Yeah.
Win 4-0.
Well, it will be. It will be Community Shield.
Lose that tactically for the Community Shield curse. Oh, we've lost! Oh no!
What was me? It's a real trophy. It's not a pre-season friendly with the shield.
Because both teams will have players missing anyway. So
the way I look at it, right? It's not a plate to add to the cupboard. At Shield, it's just there's another one to add up there. It's cool for a bit of charity, but it's not that big anyway.
But they count it in their overall trophy haul. They even count one of the what was it they won, the Intertoto fucking Maggi Pasta Cup or something. Maggi Pasta. What was it?
The most club in football.
Oh yeah. Was that the name of the trophy?
Might be the shameless trophy. That's what you get. Yeah, shameless club. There you go.
Shameless European club.
For the 85th year in a row, you are the shameless company. Hold on. I'm just bored of it now. I'm just like.
What has Arteta got? Has he got an extension or has he got a couple of years left? What's the situation with him?
Oh, Lego head.
Yeah.
Lego head.
I don't
What's he got? Because most of his Arsenal fans wanted him gone, even if he won it.
Breaking. It is believed Arteta's considering moving to Real Madrid.
You get booed out. You get booed out. If he's fired, about 5 games in.
Right. Anyway, we'll be back in the morning, 11 p.m. Smash those likes on your way out. Go and give Not My Lifetime Luke a lot of love. Ed,
he's still alive.
No, he's in the gym. You say.
So am I.
Anyway. I've just got something to do for 20 minutes and then I may do something. I don't know. Keep an eye on Twitter. Bye all. Good night. As always. See you soon.
Take care, guys.